Hello and welcome to Lou TV. It's Louth Senior Final Day, and who is going to get their hands on this Joe Ward Cup? I'm joined by Bob Doheny, Louth Secretary, and Karl O'Connor, Manager of the Clan Gael. Lads, you can feel the anticipation in the air, can't you?
Absolutely, Dan. It's going to be a super day, but the tension's already here. I've seen the players coming in, both teams, and a lot of nerves, a lot of tension there. So, big day ahead for these boys.
Karl, as a manager, what are you telling your troops? Like, there'll be no parade today. They're used to the familiar surroundings of Darver. Would that play on their mind?
I think anything that the management teams have to say to the players would have been said down on Tuesday and Thursday in the build up to the game. I think the lads will be just fully concentrated on coming out and crossing the line and putting in a performance. So obviously there'll be nerves. So I think we looked at the finals over the last few days as well. They were a wee bit nervy at the first 15-20 minutes. So I expect the same today.
Bob, speaking on behalf of the Louth County Board, you must be very happy with how things have gone so far.
Yeah, look, it's been brilliant. Look, and I suppose up to before we started our club championship, Darver was in everyone's. They weren't sure what going to Darver was an issue with them. But since we started the championship here, Dan, it's been absolutely outstanding. Clubs, players, clubs, everyone on our side. We had supporters, we had no supporters, we're back to supporters. But yeah, we're really, really happy with the way the championship went. And Darver has been now put on the map for club football, club championships, and really happy with it.
The PA overhead, so apologies if you can't just hear. But Karl, looking at the two teams, they're probably the best two teams out in the competition this season in terms of form.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think we've been lucky enough to see a lot through Lou TV, and both teams are. We spoke about it in the preview night in Thursday, and the quality is just oozes from both sides. And the age profile of some of these players, is really young. So, look, you can look at the programme and mention John Clutterbuck. You can mention Callow, Kiki for Ardee, and 5-6 more players. There's some exciting talent, and again, like I said on Thursday night, really excited for this game, for the quality it's going to be on show.
And Bob, on the Monster Boys side of things, who are you looking to for them that's going to push on and win the game and finally bring home that Joe Ward trophy?
Yeah, look, Karl had mentioned one. I think Owen Callahan is a massive, massive player for them, and John Clutterbuck. And then you go into the forward line. I can see a star man coming out today, and that's young Tom Gray. I think Tom has what it takes, to play at the top level. I've no doubt he'd play at the top level. But with players like him in your forward line, I just think, he's the X factor for everything, and I see a big day from him.
And it's perfect conditions, Karl. You can't ask for any more.
Yeah, yesterday was the same. I think a lot of people say when they come to Darver they expect the worst weather-wise, but we definitely can't be giving out about the weather. Yesterday for the junior, intermediate, and the minor and the senior today, the sun's out. We can see mostly a blue sky, so perfect conditions for football, and it's going to suit these two footballing teams.
I know Bob has mentioned Tom Gray, but is there someone else that takes your fancy that might come out of nowhere and maybe win the game for either side?
Yeah, win the game. I don't know about winning the game, but I'm by himself. But I'm a big fan of Sean Healy, another minor another player who's won the minor championship last year and has stepped into the first team. Lucky enough to coach Sean this year with the Louth schools, and he's a quality footballer and has shown that he's starting wing forward and puts in a lot of hard work and effort. He'll go up and back and do his defensive duties, but also when the Martins are transitioning, he'll work really hard to get further up the field. And I'm a big fan of Sean Healy's, but again, you look at the quality of Liam Jackson in the middle, Conor Gillespie, we talked about Kiki as well, but you look at Ronan Carroll and Darren Clark, two stalwarts of Ardee St.Marys, and like I said, there's just quality on both sides everywhere. It has the makings for a really exciting game.
Really exciting game, and they're both attacking teams. Like, they're not setting up with a defensive system or anything. So it really is threatening to be a really super final, Bob.
Yeah, look, they're two free-flowing teams. The scores, the type of scores, the scores from play they've been putting up all year has just been outstanding. They're definitely, and I agree with what you said earlier, they're the two best teams in the championship this year by a country mile. And they have done it day in, day out. They've come to games, whether it was in Darver or some of them, both of them at a game out of Darver. But I just can see, we're in for one hell of a spectacle.
Bob, can I press you on a prediction? Minutes from kick-off and throw in.
Yeah, look, I suppose, I thought look, you're thinking about it all week, it's a hard one to call. I think the hurt of the last 2 years for Naomh Mairtin, to me, I think just might get them over the line. I think they have the firepower, they've Sam, they've Wheelo, they've Tom Gray, they're hurt. And I think, to lose 3 in a row, I don't see it happening. I think very, very minimal, but I'll tip the Martins.
Karl, you're nodding your head there. Is it in agreement or disagreement?
No, I don't know about disagreement. I think obviously both sides have the capabilities of winning the game, but I just have a sneaky feeling. I said it from the outset before a ball was thrown in this year that I had a sneaky feeling for the Marys with Sean Kelly and coaching him is a real a very, very good coach, and goes about his business really well. And I just feel watching the Marys over the last few weeks that they're moving quite well, and I know Bob talks about the hurt the Martin be feeling over the last 2 years, and they're bringing a lot of pressure into this game obviously because of that, but I'm just going to tip the Marys, I think, slightly.
So a 50-50 call here, and thanks very much, gentlemen. Before we join Colm, Corrigan and Fran McCullough in the commentary box, I caught up with both camps a little earlier, and here's what they had to say. I'm joined now by Ardee St.Marys manager Sean Barry. Sean, you had a quick turnaround. Has that suited you in the lead up to this final?
It has. So everybody's been in the same position. You have 7 days. The only gap was between the quarter-final and the semi-final. So luckily everyone's injury free, and when you're winning, you're always ready. That's the way.
You're back in Darver again. Has that suited you in terms of wide open pitch, familiarity in this strange year, this COVID year?
Look, the year that's in it, we're all very thankful to be playing football at all. The big thing is, we're in a routine. You're playing, as you said earlier, Dan, it's every week. So you're in that routine, you come, you get, you're nearly half togged out, and you just go out, do your warm-up, and out you go and play. Compliment the county board, the place has been fantastic. We've been very lucky with the weather. I don't think we've had a wet day for any of the senior championship matches anyway, and it's run really smoothly, and compliment the county board on that.
So just a nod to your opponents, Naomh Mairtin. Where will the game be won and lost for yourselves today?
Well, look, they're the experienced team. They're in their 3rd final in a row. We need a competitive start. We need to be in the game. There earlier on, just listening to the Kilkenny final, Ballyhale went away early. We just hope that our younger players don't get stage fright. They settle in, and we've played the Martins twice last year. We played them in the league. We played them in the Cardinal O'Donnell final, and they gave us a bit of a trimming. We beat them in the league. They were missing a couple of lads. So look, it's a great place to be with every other team, senior team, 10 other teams that swap with ourselves in the Martins. So it's going to come down to the old saying of hunger and a bit of luck, and that'll decide the day.
What will it mean to you, yourself, and the Ardee club as a whole?
Well, look, Ardee are doing super work. This is my 3rd year involved, and they've great underage players coming through, and they've worked really hard on their underage. They were successful yesterday in the under 14. It's 25 years since they won it. You can see all the ex-players are still involved. The Rooneys, Brendan Cairn, all those guys that played, they're all back involved either on committees or training teams, and it'd be a huge lift, Ardee, to get over the line and win. Like, they've been here, I think, 3 times since 95, or since in the 2000s. 2000 and I think it was 3. 9, 16 and today. So like Darren Clark and them have been in all of those. So 3 decades, 3 finals, and they want to get over the line.
Well, Sean, on behalf of LUTV and myself, wish you the best of luck.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
I'm joined now by the Naomh Mairtin camp. That's Eddie Martin, he's the selector. Eddie, how's the nerves?
Dan, the nerves are okay. Everything's fine, we're all in good spirits and ready to go, just waiting for the whistle now and everything gets set, and hopefully all worked out well for us. So
you're here again. Obviously you're here the past 2 seasons. A little bit different to the game in Darver. Does that have any effect on your build up towards the game?
Not really, Dan. No, probably a little bit easier, to be honest. So with everything that's going on now in the world and that, so it's just like everything just seems a little bit easier. Maybe they keep the boys settled. There's not as much commotion around the place and all that kind of stuff. And it's at the end of the day, it's a pitch. So, and it's a county final, so we just have to be ready to go, from the start.
These have the preparations. It's a lot shorter. Who are you looking at today to perform and do the business for you?
Well, realistically, Dan, we need 15 guys to perform, so it's going to take a huge effort and maybe 20, another 5 off the bench to beat this Marys team. They're really out of form team this year. They've probably give us a bit of a lesson in the league already, so we have a lot of work to do to really, and we know that from the outset, from the word go till the 65th or 6th minute, whatever it takes to win it. But it's going to take a 20-man squad to win this, so from everybody.
Eddie, you've toiled as well, and now you're on the line for years. What would it mean for Naomh Mairtin to finally get their hands on Joe Ward?
Oh, look, Dan, what would it mean? What would it mean to me personally, and to the club in whole, to a lot of stalwarts that really we've been coming, and as you know yourself, we've went with Mattock, what to get across that line the first time, it's a huge. It's really to do with the players. It's what to get these guys and what get them across the line. But these guys I feel are used to winning minors and that. So and the Marys are the same. It's no coincidence that the teams I made of the last 4 minor. So it's going to be. Hopefully it'll be a really good classic game today, and may the best team win, and that's all we can hope for. It'll be us, so.
Well, Eddie, best of luck, and to your team and Naomh Mairtin.
Thanks, Dan.
And a very good evening and afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome along to Darver here on Lou TV and LMFM Radio. It is the 2020 Loud Senior Football Championship Final, sponsored by Anchor Tours. And what a game we have in prospect here between two of the informed teams in the county. What a great few weeks of football we've had here, and it all culminates here in the race for Joe Ward. That famous trophy, the most famous trophy in Loud football, just down in front of us here, the blue and white ribbons. It'll be going to Ardee later on, or Monaster Boys. The next 60 plus minutes will decide all. We're just a few minutes away from the big throw in, and great sense of anticipation. Obviously the crowd's very much restricted, only very small amounts of supporters here to witness this afternoon's match. As you can see, of course, there is a clash of colours, but that will mean that Ardee St.Marys will be lining out in their away strip, if you like, of the red and white colours, and the Martins will be lining out in the blue togs and grey shorts. So that both teams having to change their usual colours. But what a game we have in prospect here, and on co-commentary, delighted to join a man that played almost 20 years in the Naomh Mairtin colours, but retired, hung up his boots at this time last year after the Martins lost out for the second year running to Newtown Blues in the final. But he's here with us in the commentary position and has been a regular on Lou TV and indeed LMFM over the last number of weeks. It is Fra McCullough. Fra, what a game in prospect. I know you'll be hoping that it's your team, Naomh Mairtin, that will come up with the goods this afternoon, but this game has the makings of being hopefully a classic, and on paper certainly, and what we've seen the last few weeks, the way that both teams are coming into this fixture, it is a very difficult game to call.
Very difficult game to call. Both teams in excellent form, free scoring, high scoring. The Martins have averaged just over 22 points a game, with the Marys averaging over 21 points. So anyone tuning in today is a neutral to see what happens here. One thing I would be expecting: open, expansive football, highly entertaining. And obviously from my own perspective, I'd be looking to see the Martins maybe third time lucky get over the line today. But absolute beautiful conditions. Wind has totally died down from what was here in Darver yesterday, and so it's going to be a fantastic occasion.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of positives for both teams. You look at Naomh Mairtin, I suppose the experience of losing the last couple of finals, they'll not want to make it, 3 in a row. They would have learned more even probably from last year's defeat against Newtown Blues. But on the other side, St. Mary's, you have to remember, they've beaten Newtown Blues twice in this campaign, and we probably would have said at the outset, for any team that beats the Newtown Blues, would probably be the team that goes on to win the title.
Yeah, and so a lot of people would have said last week going into that semi-final game, they got the Blues, they have to beat the Blues again, and they got over that hurdle, no problem. Very composed in the end, probably could have beaten the Blues by more in the end. From the Martin side of things, after losing the last 2 finals. But new man at the helm, Fergal Real, comes in, settle things down. Looks from the team starting today that there's probably 11 players that started in last season's final. And likewise with the Marys, you can't forget that they were actually in the final in 2016 against the Naomh Mairtin. They probably have 7 or 8 maybe that's hung on, but both quite young sides, average age of 24 for both teams starting out here today.
Yes, a huge afternoon for both these sets of players. Some of them have been here before, particularly Naomh Mairtin in recent times, but as Fra says, it's only 4 years since Naomh Mairtin, or St. Mary's rather, contested the final, and they have a few survivors from that side that lost out to the Naomh Mairtin. We can give you a check on the 2 teams, and we're just actually going to have a minute's silence here for all the Gaels who passed away in the last year. We'll then take a check on the 2 teams. I can tell you there are no changes on either side from the teams that won their respective semi-finals last year, or last week even, but we are now going to have a minute's silence for all the Gaels who have passed away in the past 12 months here in Louth. Yes, and we're about to have our on Naveen now. Paul Neal, incidentally, today's referee, taking charge of this third senior final, the Kilkerley official. Yes, and there we have our national anthem, Ardee Naveen. We are literally 2 minutes away from the start of the Anchor Tours 2020 Louth Senior Football Championship. The famous trophy now just being pushed down in front of us here. Who it will be? Will it be Darren Clark getting his hands, becoming the first Ardee St. Mary's captain since Brendan Kerrin back in 1995? Or will it be Mick Fanning, the long-serving Naomh Mairtin fullback after the disappointment of the last 2 years? And will he make history by becoming the first Monaster Boyce man to lift the famous trophy? So just a few minutes away, the team's now getting in their last moments of their huddles now. Final thoughts, Fra, how's it going to go?
Look, all the talking is done here. Both teams ready to get going. Be interesting. I said to you off air there earlier, Colm, the big aspect of today's game for me is going to be the kickouts from both goalkeepers. Will the Marys press the Martins kick out, which Craig Lynch hasn't had to face all year? Likewise, what's the matchups going to be for such good sets of forwards? What's the matchups going to be from the 2 managers?
Yes, we just have time just to fit in the 2 teams. We'll show them now on your screens. A big welcome also to all our LMFM Sunday Sport listeners. But Ardee St. Mary's, no changes from last week. Robbie Levy retaining his place in the starting lineup. He'll be wearing number 20. Niall Eccles missing out. Captain, as I say, is Darren Clark at top of the left. And for Naomh Mairtin, no changes from last week. But Sean Healy was listed to start in the programme programme at 12, but Paul Beryl wearing 20 starting in his place. But as I say, they are the same starting 15s from last week's semi-final. So in beautiful conditions here in Darver, we couldn't have hoped for a better afternoon weather-wise. Let's hope the football lives up to expectations as well. And straight away it's Ardee St. Marys coming the attack. That ball sent down towards Darren Clark from RJ Callan. He runs into a challenge from Mick Fanning. Darren Clark now on the ground, tried to get that one away, but he's feeling the effects of that challenge, and Darren Clark is down, and attention straight away being called for Darren Clark, just running into a heavy challenge. Darren Clark, he's down on the ground, the Ardee St. Mary's captain, and that one was sent in. It was RJ Callan that sent that ball in towards Clark, and it was an accidental collision in the end, and Darren Clark just feeling the effects of that knock. So an early stoppage here, but straight away from the throw-in fra St. Mary's signalling their intent with that ball played forward into that forward line towards Darren Clark.
Yes, St. Mary's won the throw-in, good left-footed ball into Darren Clark. That's what they've been working on all year. If Darren could have caught it clean, he would have had a mark and a handy start for him. Just couldn't grasp it, ball bounced, and Mick Fannin absolutely met him. Timing of the shoulder there was brilliant, which Mick does often games, puts in big hits, and it was fair. It was definitely square on square. Let's hope Darren's okay though.
Yes, absolutely. Well, he's getting up to his feet, Darren Clark, and a round of applause. The Ardee St. Mary's supporters either side of us here, glad to see that their captain is up on his feet, and we are now ready to resume with this short kick out from Craig Lynch. And so for the first time now, it's the Jocks coming on the attack, looking for this ball. It's Stephen Campbell in towards the centre. Dave Martin playing in the grey shorts and blue togs, and Ardee St. Mary's lining out in the red and white colours with the blue socks. So both teams on their away strips with the clash of colours. And straight away now, man in possession is Conor Healy, fisted in towards the centre. First involvement now for Owen Callahan. He's been a big game player and a major force in this Naomh Mairtin team, and here he comes now forward, tips that ball forward up towards Sam Mulroy. 50-50 ball there, and it's been won back by Robbie Levy, getting his hands on that ball, wins it back for Ardee St. Mary's. Back now to Evan Keenan. That ball now, referee blows his whistle. It's going to be a free for Ardee St. Mary's, taken by Robbie Levy and taken quickly. Good brisk start to this game by both teams. Both sides looking to lay down an early marker. Man coming running out now with this one in towards the centre. The man who collects this one is RJ Callan. Rides the challenge. RJ Callan, referee trying to play the advantage, but now he does blow his whistle, and it's going to be a free for St. Mary's. Taken quickly. Well, just about reaches its man. The man who sent that one forward was Conor Gillespie. Now it's with Keane Moran. Keane Moran now sending that ball in towards Ronan Carroll. Ronan Carroll has support from Darren Clark if he needs him, and he does use Darren Clark. He picks it up on his toe, and on the high challenge going in, Sam Mulroy just left his hand in a little bit high there on RJ Callahan, and that's going to be a free in for St. Mary's, and the first meaningful opportunity of the game, and a high challenge by Mulroy. So now Darren Clark with the responsibility here of giving his side the early lead. We have 2.5 minutes gone here in Darver, and it's Darren Clark with the chance here of putting his team in front. Sean Barry down in front of us. The Ardee St. Mary's manager, Sean Kelly, of course, part of that backroom team for St. Mary's this season as well. Two very experienced men. And likewise, on the opposite side, Fergal Reel has done it all before with Pats of Lordship, knows what it takes to win a Joe Award. And here is Darren Clark now, just inside the 45-metre line. Takes a couple of steps up to it from his hands, and that one is gone left and wide from Darren Clark. Well, good opportunity there for St. Mary's to get the opening score of the game, but it's marked down as an early wide fra.
Yeah, definite free kick, high tackle there by Sam. Darren stepped up, stole a few yards as you can when you're kicking the frees out of your hands, but it looked good for a long time and it just tailed off to the left then.
Yes, this sideline ball, far side of the field, and it's Tom Jackson now has it for St. Mary's, sells the dummy, has support on his inside. That's RJ Callan now has it. St. Mary's now committing bodies forward. That ball played up towards Darren Clark once again. They look to be trying to pick out Clark with every opportunity. He tries to pick out one of his men, but that doesn't work out. And Sam Mulroy playing around that middle third, dropping deep at the moment here, intercepts that one, and now it's the Martins on the counter attack. Just couldn't control it there. Conor Whelan, of course, his two cousins also in the starting lineup, Mark and Evan, who are both brothers. St. Mary's have their hands back in the ball with Keane Moran. Keane Moran now sending it far side of the field, picked out when by Conor Gillespie. Ardee St. Mary's now coming out of defence with it, up towards halfway, far side of the field, running after this one. It's Kieran Keenan. Kieran Keenan does well to keep that ball in play. The man who got the late winning score against Newtown Blues in the group stages, he's still coming forward now, kind of try to chop him down, and Kieran Keenan wins the free as well. They just couldn't control Kieran Keenan. His run forward through the centre, and it's been brought forward as well, and this certainly within range. And going over, it looks as if it's going to be Conor Gillespie perhaps to take this one on, and Gillespie going over now to place this one on the ground. So a chance here for Ardee St. Marys to extend their lead. 1 point apiece, with 1 point to no score, I should say, at this early stage. Almost 5 minutes gone. The early score hasn't, I beg your pardon, Darren Clark, it wasn't an early score, it was a miss, of course, so we're still waiting for the opening score, I beg your pardon. So that earlier miss from Darren Clark, so still waiting for the first point. It's Conor Gillespie with this opportunity. So here he comes now, about to take this one off the ground, left-footed from Gillespie, connects with it quite well, and this one is gone right and wide. Another wide for St. Marys. That is their second wide after Darren Clark's earlier miss. So a couple of good chances have come and gone here in the early stages for Ardee St. Marys. Fra,
they're not. For a free taker, you like to start off on the right. They were just a little bit outside the comfort zone. Conor Gillespie missed a couple of frees in the closing stages last week. As I said earlier, Craig Lynch has been forced to kick the ball out, something he hasn't had to do all year. So the Martins are just going to have to fight for it around the middle.
Yes, well, good length in that kick from Craig Lynch, and Paul Beryl gets his hands in it now. That ball sent in towards the centre. Now it's with Owen Callahan. Owen Callahan could be a chance on here. He's inside the 13-metre line, goes left-footed with it, and Owen Callahan with the first real chance that the Martins have created in this game, and Owen Callahan sticks it over the crossbar. Almost 6 minutes gone in the opening half, and the Jocks get their noses in front here with their first opportunity, really. It's a point to no score.
Yeah, Craig Lynch was forced into going long, and boy did he go long. He found over the halfway line. Paul Beryl excellently round the breaking ball and put it through to Owen Callahan, and it was just important, I suppose, for to settle the game down, really, to get the opening score, and Owen Callahan tapped it over. A little bit of a schmozzle here along the near side.
Yes, well, there's going to be someone in trouble here with the referee. It's Evan Whelan is going to be spoken to. Evan Whelan, a heavy challenge going in, and it's a yellow card for Evan Whelan. Early stages, the Evan Whelan on a yellow card after that challenge on Liam Jackson. Liam Jackson just getting a little bit of attention down in front of us. The Ardee crowd not happy at the challenge from Evan Whelan. So the two number 9s there getting to know each other, let's say, and it is a free for Ardee St. Marys. It's going to be Tom Jackson to take it, goes for the short one, looks for the return pass, but instead Karl Faulkner decides to take this one on himself. Now he picks out Robbie Levy. Robbie Levy now, support coming from RJ Callan. RJ Callan gets rid of it, long ball up. That's a good ball played forward. It looks like Darren McCullough now coming underneath this one. Darren McCullough looking for the return pass, and he gets it. Darren McCullough scored 3 goals in 4 of the championship matches so far this season. Didn't score last week, didn't get a goal last week, but did in the earlier matches. He's under a lot of pressure, and Samuel Roy manages to wrestle possession back. It's gone out of play, and a sideline ball taken quickly by Monaster Boys. Far side of the field, it's Conor Healy who has it. Conor Healy plays that ball inside. Here's Paul Beryl now coming soloing forward with it. Uses his man on his inside, that being Conor Morgan. Conor Morgan now just holding it up, looking for a bit of support. Forced to pick out Craig Lynch, who's come off his goal line. Has a look up, goes for the short pass. Craig Lynch now, and coming on to it now, it's Valetti picking out Tom Sullivan. Sullivan now back in turn. Here's Evan Whelan who has it inside in towards the middle once more, and a lot of pressure now being exerted by the Marys to try and get this ball back, but good play by Naomh Mairtin. They retain possession. They have it now through Tom Sullivan once more. He goes across the field, a little bit of a loose one, a very loose one indeed, and Liam Jackson intercepts that one. And Liam Jackson has it, fisted forward. Here's Robbie Levy. Robbie Levy now rides the challenge from Owen Callan. That one down towards the corner. Darren McCullough trying to hold his footing, going under a lot of pressure, but there's a foul in there, and that's going to be a free in for St. Marys. A free in. It was McConnell, the man that was brought down in the end. Conor Gillespie coming up now to prepare to take this kick on. His team trailing by a point to no score. Owen Callahan's effort, the only score we've had. We've almost 8.5 minutes gone in this opening half, and it is a chance here for Conor Gillespie to level up the scores. So, as I say, a lively start to this game. The Marys have created more of their opportunities, but it is the Martins with the only point on the board so far. Conor Gillespie with this kick, and this one is gone over the crossbar on this occasion from Conor Gillespie. It is the equalising score from Gillespie. 9 minutes gone in the first half.
Yeah, Conor Gillespie will be delighted to get that score on the board. It might just settle him down. It's interesting to see the Marys are kind of playing with a bit of a sweeper there. The Martins went over and back, didn't want to kick the ball inside, and Tom Sullivan played a loose pass across and then tried to retain possession, and what often happens is he gave away the free himself. But the pattern in the game is starting to settle down now.
Yeah, near side of the field now it is St. Marys who have it. Man in possession is Keane Moran. Now it's with Liam Jackson. Keane Moran had made the forward run, but that was well timed and well intercepted by Conor Healy. He read that one superbly, and that move has been broken up. And now Naomh Mairtin coming out of defence with it. Man in possession is Val Leddy. Val Leddy now fists it into his inside. Coming forward with it now, we have John Clutterbuck. John Clutterbuck now, that's a long ball in, a little bit too long and foul. Great hands there by Conor Keenan. He read that one well, had to make a clean catch on it because his man was looming large. He did well out towards the far side of the field now, and St. Marys coming out of defence with it. Looking for the ball now is RJ Callahan. RJ Callahan now fisting out towards this near side. St. Marys still on their own 45-metre line. On it goes now as far as Keane Moran. Keane Moran now looking for options. Goes for the short pass back to RJ Callahan. He rides the challenge there. Gets past one or two Naomh Mairtin men. He's still got possession. Has to be careful now not to give it away. On it goes to Liam Jackson. Now Robbie Levy once more. Inside the Naomh Mairtin half of the field. He has a look up. Goes for the long delivery in towards Darren Clark. Trying to get his hand on it. Got his right hand on it but couldn't control it. And it's gone all the way back to Craig Lynch. And Craig Lynch is able to tidy that one up. And now he finds one of his men, and it's Owen Callahan on his own 45-metre line. So the scoreline after 10.5 minutes of play: Naomh Mairtin a point, Ardee St. Marys a point. The Jocks, of course, looking for the very first Joe Ward. Ardee St. Marys looking for their first success since 1995. They were beaten after a replay by St. Pat's in 03. They were beaten by the Sean O'Mahony's in 16. Can they go one better here this afternoon? They've had a tremendous campaign. Those earlier wins, including those victories over at Newtown Blues, most recently last week in the semi-final. That's not a good ball by Val Leddy, and he's given it straight back to Robbie Levy. Both teams giving away cheap possession occasions, particularly Naomh Mairtin giving it now. Here's Liam Jackson who has it. Knocks it over towards the far side of the field, and now it's with Conor Gillespie to Tom Jackson. Tom Jackson now up over halfway, has a look up, goes down towards the corner. That's an inviting ball for Darren McConnon. He's out ahead of his man, that man being Mark Whelan. It's still Darren McConnon running into that corner, but he's a little bit isolated. Nobody showing for it. He's very much on his own there. He takes a knock and it takes a deflection off in Martin's hand, and it's gone for a 45. A 45 here now. Well, it'll be Conor Gillespie perhaps to take this one on, but a chance here perhaps for Ardee St. Marys. Darren McConnon though did well in the end, you'd have to say, to win the 45 for her.
He did indeed. He looked to be isolated in the corner. Paul Barrell got back with Mark Whelan to try and crowd him out, and he obviously played it off him. But we spoke about before the game about both sets of forwards, high score and exciting football. A lot of credit has to go to both sets of managers. Okay, it's the same starting lineups as last week, but positional changes within those lineups has really tightened up both defences, and his defence is on top at the minute.
Yes, here's Tom Jackson now looking to find a bit of space in this Naomh Mairtin defence. Big shout out to all our listeners listening across the world on both Lou TV and LMFM Sunday Sport. We have Darren Gordon from Monaster Boyce, goes to all the matches with our dad Peter, moved to Edinburgh and couldn't get home because of COVID-19. She's listening into our coverage and watching our coverage this afternoon. Here is John Clutterbuck now right through the middle. They're not closing him down. He goes for the score and he sends it wide. Well, for once there the Marys defence was split open there. John Clutterbuck, a golden opportunity of at least getting a point. He'd be disappointed for that wasn't at least a white flag, if not a green one.
Yeah, when the game opened up for him there, as you said, Colm, and he was coming through, he looked up, he could have played it into Conor Whelan but didn't, and he looked like he was stuck in two minds then at the end, and unfortunately for him skewed off the outside of his left foot.
Yes, man in possession now from that short kick out. Conor Gillespie sending it on now. Coming forward here we have Conor Keenan man in the overlap. It's Evan Keenan now in possession. Evan Keenan now up over the Naomh Mairtin 45-metre line. Man in space here is Keane Moran down in this left corner, rides the challenge, does well as a look up at the post, goes for the score. Keane Moran, great score from Keane Moran, and Ardee St. Marys do snatch the lead, and it's Keane Moran with the point for Ardee St. Marys. That ball started with the kick out from Alan McCullough at the other end of the field. The best move we've seen of the game so far. One end of the field up to the other, and it's Keane Moran who's got the point. It's 2 points now for St. Marys. A point for Naomh Mairtin. Ball far side of the field. Racing after this one, it's RJ Callahan, but scampering after as well as Conor Whelan. 50-50 ball. Conor Whelan though using his pace to good effect, and he's managed to get it up on his toe, and he's trying to cut inside. The Marys defence now trying to cut it down the angles for him. Back it comes though, and St. Mary or Naomh Mairtin with another scoring opportunity. That one sent in and it's knocked over the crossbar. Great score, and that one coming from Tom Gray, young Tom Gray. Tom, of course, who won a minor medal last season. He's got the score and he's leveled the scores up with exactly 14 minutes gone in the first half.
Absolutely wonderful score from Tom Gray. We spoke about taking on the responsibility, and boy did he take on the responsibility that time. Fair play to Paul Neal, a big hit on Samuel Roy, he let it go. Then likewise Conor Whelan just got his toe ahead of RJ Callahan. used his pace, as you said, Colm, to get on the end of it, laid it back to Tom Gray, and he didn't have to be asked twice. Absolutely brilliant finish by Tom.
Yes, Tom Gray, one of the brightest young prospects in the county. And here's Cian Moore now. This game is certainly living up to expectations so far. Both teams going at it hammer and tongs here at the moment. Now it's Ronan Carroll trying to stand them up. Here is Mick Fanning, but Ronan Carroll gets past him. Here's Kieran Keenan now. Kiki has it, but trying to find Darren Clark. He's under a lot of pressure. Kieran Keenan, he still has it though, still managing to retain. He's got his free as well. Kieran Keenan, well, he just wasn't going to let up. He was like a dog with a bone there, almost. Kieran Keenan, he wasn't going to give up on that, and he got his free out of it as well. Job done as far as Kieran Keenan is concerned. A very tricky customer, very hard player to knock off the ball when he's in possession, and now he's given Darren Clark the opportunity to put the Ardee men back in front. We have exactly a quarter of an hour gone in the opening half in the 2020 Loud Senior Football Championship final. Darren Clark sending it in. Oh, it comes back down off the post, off the upright it comes. Darren Clark has missed the opportunity. It might come back here to Conor Gillespie trying to pick it up. Back it goes to Kieran Keenan, inside to Ronan Carroll, but it's intercepted by that man Owen Callan, back there digging out and helping out his defence. That's great player. Now a chance for Naomh Mairtin to come in the counter attack. Paul Barrell has it far side the field, knocks it inside here. Here is Owen Callan. Owen Callan now has a look up, takes it on his toe, looking for support. Still Owen Callan plays the short one. Back it goes now as far as Stephen Campbell. Calvin now, man in acres of room. Here is Conor Healy. Conor Healy now has a chance to lock up, goes for the ball in towards the middle. There's a chance here for Valdedi. Back it comes now, man in the overlap, Paul Barrell, and this is a goal. Could be a chance straight across it comes. Could be Young Whelan with the goal chance. It's been blocked down. The man who got his body behind the ball was Conor Keenan. Conor Keenan with the save, but a great opportunity there of a goal for Naomh Mairtin. But it was Conor Keenan who got his body in the way, and there was a foul down in front of us here. Man brought to ground is Kieran Keenan, and Stephen Campbell, the offending party. Stephen Campbell is going to get his name taken. But what a great opportunity there of a goal we had for Naomh Mairtin. Well, the game here, it's moving at such a pace, and it's a black card for Stephen Campbell after that foul on Kieran Keenan. So he's gone for 10 minutes, and now Naomh Mairtin are down to 14 men, and the question is, can St. Marys, now there is the whistle now for the water break. We have 16 and a half minutes played, but frantic stuff here for the goal chance going and begging there for Naomh Mairtin. And now on the resumption after the water break, it'll be St. Marys with that numerical advantage, but really a game that is certainly living up to expectation. Helter-skelter stuff so far.
Yeah, where do you start with that last passage you played? Darren Clark, you'd expect him to knock over 10 times out of 10, to be honest. Drifted to the right off the post. DeMartin's great overlap down the outside from Paul Barrell, done all the right things. Maybe the pass, I will say, in Connor's defence was maybe down around his ankles. He gathered it. It was a great, Alan McCullough was out on top of him, smothered it excellently. And if you remember going back to last year's final, Colm, Stephen Campbell picked up a black card after 10 minutes that day, so history repeats itself in that perspective. Now they could bring a man on that day. Obviously now DeMartin's going to have to probably play nearly the remainder of the half just with the 14 men, but yeah, both teams a little bit nervous, I would say, maybe, and we're really kind of still waiting for it to settle down. Defence is still on top, I say. Yeah, so the situation then, it's 2 points apiece. Low scoring opening quarter. Owen Callan giving the Martins the lead after 6 minutes of play after St. Marys had missed a couple of opportunities at the other end of the field, but back came the Marys with Conor Gillespie's equalising free. That came 3 minutes after the lead score for the Jocks. Cian Moore and then putting the Marys ahead after 13 minutes for the first time, but then we had that score from Tom Gray after a good walk down that left hand side, and Tom Gray sticking it over the crossbar 14 minutes in. We had that goal opportunity then for young Conor Whelan, and the effort that was smothered in the end. And now just on the stroke of the end of the first quarter, the water break, the black card going the way of Stephen Campbell. So we'll be resuming now with St. Marys a man up, but it's a level pegging on the scoreboard, and referee Paul Neal just waiting now for the Martins to come back on the field. So it's still very difficult, impossible to separate the teams. The Martins, remember the start in last year's final where they really got left behind at the start, gave the Newtown Blues that big lead, but I suppose it was a determination from their point of view certainly not to let that happen again. Yeah, and I suppose this time in the final last year the game was potentially over. The black card from a Martins perspective may came at a perfect time for Fergal Reel to get them in straight away and sort out what they're going to do for the next few minutes. You can see all the players have already dropped back there for the Martins, so big 15 minutes ahead for both sides here. Now here's Tom Jackson in possession for Ardee St. Marys, picking out one of his men, that man being the full-back Karl Faulkner, coming forward now up over the 45-metre line, trying to pick out Darren Clark. That ball though bouncing away from him, and Naomh Mairtin have it back with Conor Whelan. Conor Whelan out to Owen Callan, to Sam Mulroy. Mulroy now, man in the overlap far side of the field, and that man is Conor Morgan, still coming forward with it, up over the 65. Still Morgan now, just decides to hold it up
Samuel Roy has it. The pace of the game now just slowing down a little bit since the water break. Here's Owen Callahan finding Conor Healy this near side of the field. Conor Healy now fisting that ball over the head of Keane Moore, and gets the return though over past Kieran Keenan now. All slow and steady here from Naomh Mairtin, making gradual progress into the Marys half of the field. Here's Samuel Roy. Well, Roy now fisting it back again. All very patient and all very pedestrian here at the moment. Conor Morgan in possession once more. So 2 points each at the minute, with almost 20 minutes gone in this opening half. Here's Conor Whelan. Conor Whelan now, he might decide to try and take it on. He's got Paul Beryl in support. Beryl now still going forward, has options just behind him. Uses Valletti. Valletti now goes for the short pass. Here's Samuel Roy now once more. Samuel Roy now trying to get a bit more involved in it. Here's Valletti now. He fancies his chances, the midfielder, and Valletti taking on the responsibility and puts it over the crossbar. It's the lead score for the Jocks, and that score coming courtesy of the midfielder, Valletti.
Excellent patience there from the Martins. They had it. They're playing against the clock there, I suppose, not trying to give the Marys too much incentive. Worked it over and back. Another great run from Paul Beryl to overlap, and Valletti outside the right foot. He got one like that last week, sweet as a nut.
Yes, here's Darren McCullough now looking to respond straight away for Ardee. St.Marys at the other end. Here's Kieran Keenan. Yeah, that's good pass, and the man in space here is Tom Jackson, got on the scoreboard last week. Tom Jackson, and that's a great score from young Jackson, straight over the red spot here on the goals in Darver, and that was excellent play. Darren McCullough involved. The ball was sent in towards the man Kieran Keenan, setting up Tom Jackson. An excellent response, just for the Marys were hoping for.
Absolutely, and Tom Jackson's come up in most games this season for the Marys, and he's definitely not afraid to shoot. Owen Callahan stood off him there, and Tom didn't have to be asked twice. As I said, he's contributed to nearly a point in every game. He got one last week, his brother got the goal, but the Jacksons aren't afraid to shoot.
Yes, and a little bit of argy-bargy going on there between Tom Sullivan and Darren Clark, but play continues up over halfway. St. Marys have it, with RJ Callahan be surrounded by three Ardee or Martin's players. The ball though eventually breaking away, and it's been picked up by Robbie Levy. Robbie Levy now has Conor Keenan in support. Conor Keegan now cutting his way past a couple of Martin's players, and now he's got support from Liam Jackson. Liam Jackson now picking out RJ Callahan. Jackson has made the forward run. That's a very inviting ball, and he's got space. It's Liam Jackson, the goal scorer from last week, sending it in. Darren McCullough has it all blocked by Craig Lynch, right into the chest of Craig Lynch. Darren McCullough was the man who was running in. Another excellent move by the Marys, but doesn't come off though. Craig Lynch doing his job to good effect there, smothering that one and getting the danger away. And now a chance for the Martins to break at the other end. It's with Paul Beryl. Paul Beryl now support coming from John Clutterbuck. That's a good looking ball towards the young man Tom Gray. Tom Gray under a lot of pressure from Donal McKinney. It's still Tom Gray though, coming further back out the field, looking for options. Valletti now just showing for it. Also Owen Callahan. Tom Gray still holding on to it. Has to be careful, needs to get rid of it here, has to be careful not to be penalised. And there was a pull by McKinney in the end, and it's going to be a free in for Naomh Mairtin. Tom Gray eventually getting the free, and now an opportunity for it'd be Samuel Roy that's going to take this one on and over towards that far side of the field, and is Samuel Roy slowly coming out from his full forward position to take this one on. And he's gone in a little bit further in. He's been further out the field, but we haven't seen much of him so far. But certainly, if he hits form and if he sticks this one over from a free taker's point of view, this would be a good one to get now at this stage.
Great one to get. It's a big distance out now for Sam. I think he's again, the Martins seem to have the clock in their mind. That seems to be quite telling here from the restart of the water break. The Martins are taking their time over everything. Tom Gray was isolated there, 18 years of age, showed excellent composure, took his man on twice, still no help, and eventually drew the free. It was great composure for a man of his age. This is a big ask from Sam though. Yes,
here's Samuel Roy just inside the 45 metre line, far side of the field, very close to the sideline now. Has he got it? And he has. That is a tremendous point from Samuel Roy, and he's absolutely the reaction himself, he clenches his fists. He's absolutely delighted with that one, and that's a huge score for Samuel Roy at this stage of the game, and it puts his team ahead at 4 points to 3. And there's a change coming. Mick Fanning is coming off the field. It looks, the team captain, and Sean Healy is coming on. So Mick Fanning is coming off, but Samuel Roy's point gives the Jocks here a 4 points to 3 lead, as the Marys come and look for an instant response once again at the other end of the field. It's with Darren Clark fisting that ball in towards the corner. Back it goes now to Darren McConnell. Darren McConnell now trying to get round his man. Back to Darren Clark once more. Darren Clark, he's a little bit isolated too. Now he's got support coming from RJ Callahan in towards the centre. Here's Ronan Carroll. Ronan Carroll fancies his chances. That's a very high kick. A Gary Owen or a Tully Allen, as some people would say, up towards. That's a good kept in play by Kieran Keenan. Just dropped it at the vital second. Might just get it back. Put it back there. The Martins, the defence doing its job, and it's John Clutterbuck who gets his hands in it and gets the free out. And John Clutterbuck, he had to make sure of that one, Fra, because Kieran Keenan in those sort of situations, very, very difficult to try and cut him down.
Low centre of gravity, extremely hard man to stop. Owen Callaghan got a good hand in fairness, turned it over. You'd have to imagine there's been an injury to Mick Fanning there with Sean Healy coming on. Sean's been playing in the forwards this year, so there'll be a bit of juggling around. Tom Sullivan's moved over to pick up Ronan Carroll there, as you can see as well, so there's a bit of juggling to be done in the Naomh Mairtin backline.
Okay, so Naomh Mairtin still down to the 14, of course, after that earlier black card, and now have lost Mick Fanning as well. Here is Cian Moore now for Ardee St. Marys. Back it goes now, forced into the error, just about has kept it in play though. Back it goes to Robbie Levy now, so the Marys having to start all over again and build from centre field. Here is RJ Callan, chips that ball into the path of Evan Keenan. Evan Keenan now, a little bit of room to manoeuvre, trying to cut down his angles. Here is Sean Healy, the substitute, and it's still Evan Keenan plays it across the face of goal. Here's Conor Gillespie, chance of a goal. Craig Lynch, I think this is going to be a penalty. Craig Lynch fouls Conor Gillespie. It's going to be a penalty. Craig Lynch has given away the penalty. The referee with his arms outstretched, and it's Conor Gillespie who's been fouled by Craig Lynch. Tried to get back on his feet, but he was chopped down in the end by Craig Lynch, and it's going to be a penalty for Ardee St. Marys. A big moment perhaps here in the game, and Craig Lynch just having a few words with Paul Neal, but the decision has been made, and the referee just signalling. It's some of the stewards, I think, are just standing behind the goals, and I don't think Paul Neal wants anybody standing behind the goals. But no, the man that's going to take this one, it looks as if it's going to be Cian. It is going to be Cian Moran. So Cian Moran, some of the stewards just standing behind the goals, and the referee tells them to get away. So now all focus here on this kick from Cian Moran. So Conor Gillespie, the man winning the penalty. 26 minutes gone in the first half. Craig Lynch now giving away the penalty. Can he save it? Cian Moran, it's saved. Follow up, and it's gone wide in the follow up from Cian Moran. He's missed the penalty. Saved. Craig Lynch diving to his left hand side, smothers the effort. It came back out, and Cian Moran couldn't follow up, sends it wide. Big moment in the game perhaps, Fra, but
absolutely massive moment in the game there. Penalty miss, 2 missed frees for the Marys. Will they come back and rue these chances? Craig Lynch stayed out of the goals as long as he could to build the pressure on Cian Moran, used all his experience, guessed right, went down to his left hand side and made a great save. Cian just seemed to lose his balance and couldn't get that rebound in. Very disappointing from the Marys' perspective not to be ahead at this stage.
Well, that's a huge confidence booster for Naomh Mairtin and for Craig Lynch as well, saving that penalty. But St. Marys now, they have to try and not let their heads drop after that missed opportunity. Here's Evan Keenan. Now it's with Cian Moran. Cian Moran now sending it on. Goes to the short one. Conor Gillespie, the man that won the penalty, but Cian Moran, the man that sent it, that had his effort saved. Now here's a chance, perhaps it's with Donald McKinney. Back it goes now to Darren Clark now, man in the overlap. Back it goes to Karl Faulkner just inside the 45-metre line. Here's Tom Jackson. Plenty of Ardee players getting their hands on the ball, but can they orchestrate a score off with that blade played low now? Kieran Keenan trying to turn his man. Still Kieran Keenan. Can he finish with a goal? Another save by the feet of Craig Lynch. Kieran Keenan with the goal opportunity, and Craig Lynch again coming to his team's rescue. Got his feet to the ball. Well, we've had goal opportunities at either end, and that's as good as an opportunity the Marys have had, aside from the penalty, of course. And Kieran Keenan denied on that occasion by Craig Lynch. Well, he's certainly earning his bacon here, Craig Lynch, even though he gave away the penalty, but he saved the penalty from Cian Moran, and now he's kept another one out of the back of the net. But it's all happening here in Darver in the first half, as now Naomh Mairtin coming on the attack. It is with Sean Healy, the substitute, fisted back in towards the centre. Man in possession now is John Clutterbuck back in turn now to Sean Healy. Remember Mick Fanning going off the field. Sean Healy, his replacement, and Stephen Campbell still off the field with that black card from earlier on. Conor Whelan coming in deep now in towards the centre of the field. Now what can the Martins do with this ball? They have it now with John Clutterbuck once more. John Clutterbuck just holding it up. Has support now coming from Val Leddy now, one of the scores from earlier on in this first half. A reminder of the scoreline: Naomh Mairtin 4 points, St. Marys 3. The missed penalty will be a big talking point. The save as well, and the follow up from Craig Lynch. Now chance here, another opportunity this time for Naomh Mairtin. The man who has it is Mark Whelan with this chance, but he sends it right and wide. Not too many scores, but plenty of talking points.
A lot of excitement as Stephen Campbell comes back into the fray now. to make it 15v15. We thought it was going to be a high scoring and enthralling game, but it's equally as exciting without those scores. And Craig Lynch is after pulling off 3 absolutely wonderful saves to keep the Martins really in touch. They're not firing from an attacking perspective at the moment.
Well, ball dropping in the far side of the field. If you're just joining us and you're looking at the score, 4 points to 3, you'd be thinking it's a disappointing game, but it's far from it. It's far from disappointing. It's been enthralling stuff, even though the scores have been hard to come by, but there's been certainly plenty of opportunities and a lot of talking points. Samuel Roy now getting a jostle with Karl Faulkner, and Samuel Roy trying to barge his way through, goes to ground. Samuel Roy has won the free. A glorious chance here for the Jocks to extend their lead. We're in the run into half time now, 30 seconds of normal time to go, and whatever else has to be added. Stephen Campbell, as Fra mentioned, has rejoined the action after that black card. See Craig Lynch issuing some instructions now, showing plenty of leadership. He's telling Paul Beryl there's a switch in positions here on the Martins team. Paul Beryl, man that seems to be dropping back. Well, it's Mark
going back in there. I think it was Conor Morgan to bust up the field at that stage. He's just going back in to pick up Darren Clark. We can see here Owen Callaghan, since the Mick Fannin injury, Owen Callaghan is the man that's dropped back to pick up the danger man Kieran Keenan. This happened in the league match as well at one stage, so chance here for Sam to extend this Jocks lead to 2. Yeah,
so 4-3 as things stand, and it's Samuel Roy. That earlier score from further out the field, has he judged it to perfection? And he has, it's right over the crossbar. It's Samuel Roy's second point of the afternoon. It's now 5 points to 3. The Jocks with a 2-point advantage in the run into half time. 5 points to 3, and Mulroy making it 2 frees from 2 successful efforts. 31 minutes played now in this first half. Good play by Liam Jackson, sends that ball forward as far as Darren Clark. He flicks it on, trying to send Robbie Levy on his way, and it just dribbles out over the line. Robbie Levy just couldn't control it, and it's gone out over the line. But that last score from Samuel Roy, that free, making it 5 points to 3. Referee blows his whistle, and it's going to be a free. It looks as if it's going to be a Monster Boyce. It's actually gone out of play, and it's going to be, well, he's allowing play continue. In fact, Paul Neal, and it's Craig Lynch in possession. Now he's found Sean Healy. Sean Healy now coming in the attack, and here's Paul Beryl now using the man who's inside. John Clutterbuck in possession. John Clutterbuck now being surrounded by 2 Mary's players, and he's got his free as well. RJ Callan and Conor Gillespie between them giving away the free. The ball is going to be brought up as well. This is all now in favour of the Martins in the run into half time. The linesman on the far side is out now to have a word, I think, with Paul Neal as well. And he's running back now to that far sideline. And now we are
just going to say how many minutes we're going to have here. Maybe Paul Neal's given the nod to let us know how many minutes stoppage time. Just things haven't gone well really for Darren Clark in this opening half. He's missed a free, tried to flick that one over his head when he didn't really need to, could have caught it. And again, the chance now for Sam to extend it to 3 points, which the Martins will be delighted with coming into half time.
Yeah, so a chance for Samuel Roy now to make it 3 from 3. Here he comes out just outside the 45 metre line, connects with it again. Well, once again, is that on target? This one is gone over the crossbar. The white flag is raised, and Samuel Roy puts it over. Another score from the county man. That's now 6 points to 3. All of a sudden it's double scores in favour of the Jocks, and going in at half time, the Monster Boyce men, I think, are going to be the happier of the 2 teams. But there will be only a minute to be added. We've played 32 minutes, so it says we play continuing here. Ardee have won a free. They'll be anxious to try and get something on the scoreboard before half time, but time is running out on them now at this stage. They have a free, which it's taken quickly down towards Kieran Keenan. It's knocked away though by Owen Callan. Callan, as Fran mentioned, now doing a man-to-man marking job on young Kieran Keenan, and Owen Callan in there. Referee has blown his whistle, and it's going to be a Naomh Mairtin ball. It might well have gone out over the sideline. In fact, I think it's going to be a line ball for Naomh Mairtin.
The intensity of tackle there from Owen Callaghan, won the turnover, held on for too long, and that's a brilliant turnover. It'll just fuel the Martins fans over that far side to look to wind the clock now down to get it in 6-3 at half time.
Man in possession now is Sean Healy, near side of the field, coming under a bit of pressure, and it's been taken away from. Challenge going in there by Cian Moran. Cian Moran just feeling the effects of that a little bit. The Naomh Mairtin have won the free. It's going to be taken by Val Leddy. Can't be too much more to be added. Referee taking a look at his watch. I think the half-time whistle is going to go, and there it is. There is the half-time whistle from referee Paul Neal. A very eventful first half, and here at the break the Jocks are leading by double scores. They kicked the last 2 scores from Samuel Roy in the run into half-time, but but plenty of talking points in this first half. That missed penalty from Keane Moran, the 3 saves from Craig Lynch in the first half, and I think Fergal Reid will probably be the happier of the managers, but still a long way to go in this game. The Marys probably will be looking to regroup now a little bit, perhaps things just not going their way on occasions, and but at the same time, the penalty, a big moment in that first half.
Big moment. Craig Lynch stepped up, done the right thing, saved it over. 6-3 to the Martins. They've taken their chances, the Martins. I can only really remember one wide from Mark Whelan. Sam's been deadly accurate with the frees. On the other side, the Marys have missed 2 frees, missed a penalty, 2 great goal scoring opportunities also missed on top of the penalty. So yeah, Fergal will get to win. Whatever little slight wind conditions is there will be favouring the Martins men in the second half, and you have to think that the game will open out.
A few people just to say hello to before we wrap up, listening on LMFM radio and on Lude TV. Jed King listening in from Port Glenone in County Antrim, and the message is up the jocks. We have Aideen of the Ardee St.Marys club listening in Melbourne, also Dotsy listening in to our coverage and watching our coverage here as well. At half time then, 3 points separating the teams. It's time to take a break, but here at the break it's Naomh Mairtin leading by double scores. The jocks from Monasterboy 6 points, Ardee St Marys 3. Yes, and you're very welcome back here to beautiful Darver. We're just a few minutes away from the second half getting underway here in the Anchor Tours Louth Senior Football Championship Final for 2020. Will it be Naomh Mairtin? Will it be Ardee St.Marys at the moment? Naomh Mairtin, the team with the advantage. They lead by 6 points to 3, and that penalty save from Craig Lynch, one of the big talking points here at half time. And Ardee St.Marys first team to make their way back out onto the field after the half-time team talk from Sean Kelly and Sean Barry, and Naomh Mairtin now coming back out from their position on the far side of the field. Fergal Reid, I'm sure, well, telling them to keep going, doing everything that's asked of them at the moment. And can they maintain their advantage though? Pretty low scoring so far. We were probably expecting a bigger scoreline at half-time, but it's been very, very entertaining stuff, no question about that. And of course, already this weekend in Louth, we've had 2 champions crowned. Naomh Finbarra carting off the Christy Bellew Cup yesterday with that late drama against Lanlera. And last evening then, St. Bride's ending 53 years of pain, carting off the Intermediate Championship title at the expense of Kilkerley Emmets with that 13-point victory. Now, we have no ball out in the middle of the field, and we have no referee yet either. Paul Neal just enjoying that half-time cup of tea. We're just waiting for him to come back out. Paul Neal. He'll be appearing very shortly, I'm sure. But Fra, thoughts now as we prepare for the second half here. Your own club, 3 points to the good. It's not much of a lead, but you know, psychologically probably they would have taken a big lift from that penalty save. And what's happening here now?
No sign of the referee.
No sign of the referee.
He was told a 15-minute stoppage maybe, and he's still having the cup of tea.
Yeah, I think that both sets of teams, players, I think anxious to get on with it, but 15 minutes, that is the rule, and I don't think we've reached the 15 minutes, so I think Paul Neal is not, he's not come back out just yet. So I suppose Fergal Reid, from his point of view, doesn't want fellas to just lose their focus, and he's calling them back into that huddle.
Yeah, exactly. Look, players down in Darver, they haven't had dressing rooms all season. They're kind of getting used to it at this stage, I suppose, getting in, getting the water break, getting back out half time, likewise getting the quick team talk. There's no dressing rooms, there's no kids playing a half time in a final, so you know, it's from the players and coaches' perspectives, as we said before the game, all the talking is done. The matchups from both sets of managers has been really good. I was just looking there when both teams lined back out. Conor Morgan's the man that's now gone in to pick up Darren Clark. Tom Sullivan's moved across to pick up Ronan Carroll. As we already spoke about just before half time, Owen Callaghan is coming back and picking up Kieran Keenan. So you can kind of see when they're after showing their hand now, and they're all gone back in to see maybe what's going to happen now. It'll be interesting to see if there is anything different now here as they start to come back out onto the field now, the umpires and officials. Yeah, we're just waiting for Paul Neal then to make his reappearance. Sean Barry and Sean Kelly, award for both those two men. They've been around the scene a long time between Louth and Meath. Fra, they know what it's all about. Sean Kelly involved with Mattock last year, but ultimately, you know, when fellas go out in the field, you know, a coach's role, they can only really go to a certain point with fellas. It's up to the players at the end of the day, isn't it? Absolutely up to the players at the end of the day. They've had the short turnaround of the week. They've no doubt with all the footage of Lou TV to be able to do their homework a lot easier than they usually would be able to do. And as I said, the two of them are serial winners. Sean Kelly came from Mattock last year, and first year in, bang, he's brought the Marys to the final. He brought Mattock the whole way to an All-Ireland semi-final last year as well. So he's a great pedigree, very calm. The players obviously have taken to him, and he plays a nice brand of football as well, nice open brand of football. Both of these teams very young, but are taking on board what has to be said. Likewise, Fergal Reid coming in first year after maybe Jim Farrell been there for 5 years, just to try and get them over the line, to see what the difference could be as both sets of players head back out now, hopefully. Yeah, the shortened season obviously very different from what we're used to, Fra, but it seems to have earned widespread approval. There haven't been very many dissenting voices the way the season has been run. I'd love to see a survey or statistics from what players themselves think over the course of the season. You would imagine if a shortened season, rather than start training in January and you're still going into the third week of October, there has to be some way of looking at that for players, because the excitement, the week on week football, obviously if you pick up an injury it's a fault, but apart from that, week on week, players are flying, players are loving it, and you could see hopefully something like this rolling out again in the future.
Yeah, seems to be the way forward, perhaps, that shortened season and games week in, week out. I think that has gone down well with everybody, spectators, mentors and supporters alike. And now Paul Neal is ready to get the action underway. So the second half here to decide the destination of the Joe Ward Cup. Are we looking at a winner today? Are we even looking, dare we say it, perhaps a draw in a replay? But let's see what happens as Naomh Mairtin straight away on the attack. Man sending that ball forward was Evan Whelan. That's an inviting ball for Samuel Roy. Does well, tries to round his man. Still Samuel Roy. It's a difficult angle, takes a deflection, bounces around, but that's cut out well by the Marys defence, and they have it back now. Man in possession is Donal McKinney. Donal McKinney now picks a man out in the far side of the field. Here come the Marys now, building out it goes through the legs, and it's given away by RJ Callan, and the Martins have wrestled back possession. Valletti now, who has it just outside the 45 metre line. That's a terrible pass from Valletti, not too sure what he was thinking about there. He gives it straight back to Ardee St. Marys, and now a chance for Conor Gillespie to get something going down this near side, cutting his way inside in towards the centre. This is Robbie Levy playing that ball forward down towards Darren McConnon. McConnon lays it off again back to Robbie Levy. Robbie Levy doing well now, controlling it down towards the corner, running after this one, takes a deflection off the boot of Tom Sullivan. It's gone out of play, and it's going to be a line ball for Ardee St. Marys. I feel perhaps the Marys will be the ones to try and start this half now with a couple of scores. Craig Lynch under control, he controls that one well, reacted that one very quickly, and the Martins coming out quickly out of defence with it. Now it's with Valletti, in towards the centre it comes. Sean Healy getting his hands on it. Now it's John Clutterbuck. John Clutterbuck now just decides to hold it up, looking for support. Valletti had made the inside run, still Valletti now coming forward up inside the Marys half of the field, down towards the corner. Running after this one now is young Tom Gray, has a look up, takes it on his toe just outside the 45 metre line. Still Tom Gray, he's just still in possession of it, just flicks it back. Naomh Mairtin now just gradually building it up here, and coming onto it, it's Conor Morgan. Conor Morgan now lays it off once again, and a couple of players looking for it. It's Conor Whelan who's taking it on. Still Whelan now, can he finish it off with a score? Goes for the point, and that's a majestic point from Conor Whelan. A great score from Conor Whelan. Again, that had to be, it was slightly patient. Conor Whelan though found himself the right man in that position, decided to take it on, was brave enough to take it on, sticks it over the crossbar. All of a sudden it's a 4-point game for her.
Yeah, exactly. Ball went into Tom Gray there again, showed excellent composure, didn't rush it, went back, turned over there by the Marys now with Jackson, but down towards the corner it goes. Now it's with Darren McConnon. Jay controls it well. Still Darren McConnon cutting in from a difficult angle. Goes for the goal. Craig Lynch somehow smothers it again. Craig Lynch has it. Referee blows the whistle. And Craig Lynch again gets down on that one. It was Darren McConnon with the opportunity. That's 4 saves now. I make it for Craig Lynch. And Darren McConnon, a difficult angle it was, but it was on target. Craig Lynch now feeling the effects of this knock. But Craig Lynch, well, what a game he's having here between the posts for Naomh Mairtin. And again, St. Marys creating the goal opportunity for themselves, but somehow it stayed out of the back of the net for her. Yeah, you can hear Sean Kelly shouting there, stick it over the bar. He was coming in on his left foot. Look, he's a goal getter, Darren McConnon, no doubt about it. Possibly coming in at the wrong angle for a left footer to take on that goal chance, and maybe a point to get it back to 3 points would have settled the Marys back down there to get them on the scoreboard in the second half. But Craig Lynch was equal to it. Again, some people said to me during the week, when this last time Craig Lynch saved a shot? Well, he's after saving 4 today.
Absolutely, and he's up on his feet, and it's going to be this free out for the Jocks. It's taken quickly. Valletti now in possession of it, picking out looks like Owen Callan, far side of the field. Callan now gets the return pass, and now Naomh Mairtin again probably taking a bit of inspiration from that save from Craig Lynch. It's still Owen Callan, gets rid of it now. Another opportunity going and begging here. That ball sent long by Sean Healy. This is a good looking opportunity, and this one is taken on Tom Gray with the chance of the point, and Tom Gray sticks it left and wide. Oh, that was a great opportunity, and the lead stays at 4 points. That one going a real good chance, going a begging there for Tom Gray. The first wide we've had of the second half for Naomh Mairtin. Ball contested at the centre of the field, just inside the Marys half. They win the free. RJ Callan wins it and takes it quickly. Picking it up there was Tom Jackson. Tom Jackson coming forward up over halfway. Is there still another kick in Ardee St. Marys? Nobody will be writing them off at this early stage. Remember the comeback against the Blues in the group stages. They were 7 points down with only 12 minutes left, and they found a way back to win it. So still a lot to play for, all to play for here here. There'll be no alarm bells ringing just yet. Now RJ Callan has a bit of room to manoeuvre, fisting that ball down. It's Kieran Keenan who has it. Kieran Keenan now offloads it, finding Darren Clark. Darren Clark now down towards this right hand side. Still Darren Clark, he's going to take it on, goes for the score, and it drops short into the hands of Craig Lynch. Confidently gathered by Craig Lynch, and he's got a man in support on that right hand side. Darren Clark really should have made sure of that one. That was a good opportunity. The ball just goes through the hands there of Paul Barrell, but he gathers it in the second attempt, and that ball now chipped forward. Here's Samuel Roy now first to this one. Carl Faulkner chasing him and shadowing him all the way. Still Samuel Roy though, walking himself into a scoring position, goes for it right footed. Is it on target? It's dropping in, and it's dropping left and wide from Samuel Roy. He thinks he should have had a free out of it, and I think, well, it's not a free. Samuel Roy thought he might have been fouled as he pulled the trigger on that one. Not so, said the referee. It goes down as the Martin second wide. It's 7 points for Naomh Mairtin. It's 3 points for St. Marys. Not the best kickouts though from the Alan McCullough. Back it comes now to Naomh Mairtin. Man in possession here, Stephen Campbell. Stephen Campbell back to Tom Gray now. Tom Gray now. Inside it goes. Not the best of passes there from Samuel Roy, and he's given it away. And intercepting that one was Robbie Levy. Now it's with Ronan Carroll. Ronan Carroll now playing that long ball. That's an inviting one again for Darren McConnon. That's a great catch from McConnon. He's under pressure here from Mark Whelan. Still Darren McConnon now brooks it inside. Here's Darren Clark now, has it. Darren Clark setting a dummy. Oh, that one is blocked down brilliantly, and it's intercepted. Great block was Tom Sullivan who got the block in, and then Martin are able to come away with it. Things not just working out for Darren Clark in this game so far. He's had a lot of good opportunities. Ball now sent forward by Naomh Mairtin, and that's a dangerous one. It's a testing one. It's knocked down. That's good defending by the Marys man. It was Tom Jackson, I think, that got his hands on that ball. Now it's with Carl Faulkner. Carl Faulkner now sending it on left footed down towards this near side of the field. A sub about to come on. Bodie Clark is warming up for the Ardee man. Here's Kieran Keenan. Kieran Keenan has a look up at the bows. He goes for the score, Kieran Keenan, and this one is short as well. They just can't land the scores. Just can't put it over the crossbar. They've only scored 3 points so far. They've had loads of opportunities. Bodie Clark is coming in very shortly, and also Jay Crawley is going to come in. There's going to be a double change here for Ardee St. Marys. They sense that changes are needed. The Martins here at the moment, they have a 4-point lead, but the Marys are doing themselves no favours. They're missing opportunities. They've had the chances, but they haven't converted them. Here's Samuel Roy now around the centre of the field. The Jocks now coming forward with it. Here is John Clutterbuck. John Clutterbuck, the Martins proving that little bit more economical, and they've got a free. John Clutterbuck has been brought down. The change now, Jay Crawley is coming in, Paddy Clark as well, and it's going to be Darren Clark making his way off, the RD captain, and Jay Crawley coming in now. We have almost 7 minutes gone in the second half. A glorious opportunity here for Samuel Roy. He's kicked all the frees that have come his way so far, and it's Robbie Levy is the other man. Robbie Levy and Darren Clark, two of the long-serving members of this RD team, are coming off the field, and now Samuel Roy ready to resume with this free kick. It's about 39 metres or so out from the post, one that he will certainly be fancying. A pressure kick coming up here. If he lands this one, it's a great lead for his team. Is it on target? It's looking good, going by the reaction of the Jock supporters on the far side. It's over the crossbar. Samuel Roy with the point.
Sam is absolutely nailing his frees today. That's 4 from 4 for him. As we just spoke about Darren Clark, just things didn't go for him. He had a chance to stick it over on his right foot there. For whatever reason, decided to go back onto his left. Look, we've all had games like that. Just didn't seem to run for him today. And as you say, just a bit more efficiency down the other end for the Martins sees them into a 5-point lead.
The Jocks are eyeing the Holy Grail perhaps. We have 8 minutes gone in the second half.
Long time to go yet.
A long time to go yet, and no, there'll be nobody around Monaster Boys, so the few supporters, Jock supporters that are here, they certainly won't be counting their chickens at this early stage of the game. They know from past disappointments that you can take absolutely nothing for granted. Paddy Clark now picks it up, the substitute, straight into the action. Now, can he walk into himself into an angle? He's still got possession. They're not closing him down. He has a look up at the post. He goes for the score, takes it on left-footed, Paddy Clark, and a great score from the substitute. That's the kind of impact you need from a substitute, and Paddy Clark really putting his hand up there. An excellent score from the sub.
Absolutely brilliant score from Paddy Clark. Comes in there, turns it, didn't get it at the first attempt, gathered it up then, and things just kind of opened up. He dropped the shoulder, Valletti didn't go with him, and he had the confidence to take on the shot, and he's absolutely nailed it with his first one.
Yes, the Marys
on the counter.
Marys on the counter attack here, and the man who has it is John Clutterbuck now. Space opening up for him. What is he going to do with it? To his outside. Here is Conor Whelan with the opportunity. Now can Whelan nail it? Oh, back of the net. It's a goal from Conor Whelan. Whelan has found the back of the net. Great to build up play once again from Naomh Mairtin, and it's Conor Whelan who has got the goal. How crucial may that be? Conor Whelan with the goal, and he took it with some aplomb as well. A brilliant score from Conor Whelan. Absolutely marvellous goal.
What a finish that was from Conor Whelan. I had a go at him last week. He scored 2-6 in the last minute. He came in on his right foot with a chance and he put it over the bar. He cornered onto his less favoured right foot there today from a tight enough angle as well, and absolutely smashed it off the underside of the crossbar into the net. Martins have turned it over here again, but things seem to be going the Martins' way at the moment, and maybe the experience of the last couple of years is starting to come to the fore here now.
Yes, just as the Marys got that point from Paddy Clark right from the kick out, the Martins going down the other end and getting the goal from Conor Whelan, the first goal of the game after all those earlier misses. And we've come to the end of the referee looked as if he stopped here. I thought it was the water break a little bit earlier yet for the water break. RJ Callaghan has been spoken to now by the referee, but the goal coming from Conor Whelan, it's a card as well for RJ Callaghan. That's a yellow card for RJ Callaghan, the Ardee St. Mary's midfielder. But this now is asking a lot here of the men from Ardee. Can they come back from this situation? 1-8 to 4 points. And as time goes on, as the scores, the Martins get with the goal and the couple of points at the start of the second half, you just wonder how vital and how big of a miss that penalty miss in the first half might be for Ardee St. Mary's. Now, Naomh Mairtin, from the experience and the hurt and the disappointment of the last two finals, I'm sure that's probably playing on the back of their minds a little bit here. They'll be determined not to throw this situation away. They're in a tremendous position here to get their hands on the Joe Ward for the first time, but still Ardee St. Mary's may have a major say in all that. Here's Ronan Karl has intercepted it. RJ Callaghan trying to control it, does well, goes down on his right arm, just took a little bit of a knock there. Now it's with Darren McCullough fisting it on, gets the return pass. Darren McCullough now cutting his way through, goes for the score. Darren McCullough, and he gets the point as well. Darren McCullough, a vital score for St. Mary's. They're perhaps hanging on by their fingernails here a little bit. They've got the score though, they need more of those. Good move, but there is an injury. RJ Callaghan has gone down awkwardly on his right arm. Let's hope it's not a bad knock and he's just a little bit feeling the effects of it. It's actually it's actually his knee.
Yeah, good score there from Darren McCullough. RJ was down in the ground, couldn't really do much, but actually kept possession, done really well. McCullough played a 1-2 and maybe for a half second he was tempted to go for goal again, but that time he just tapped it over the bar, brings it back to 6, keeps the Marys in touch. Probably came again from the Martins playing it around in their own half and play the ball through the centre that they haven't really been playing all day. They haven't been playing those 50-50 passes that time. Played it through the centre and it was turned over, and you can just see that on the Marys, on their counter-attack, they're still as lethal as ever, but RJ looks to be struggling a little bit here, and Sean Kelly's made his mind up for him.
Yes, Karl Gillespie is going to come into the action here, so it's going to be an enforced change here. RJ Callaghan is not going to be able to continue here after that knock on his leg. Looks in a little bit of agony as well, so Karl Gillespie is coming into the action here for Ardee St. Mary's. So we have 12 minutes gone in the second half. Naomh Mairtin are in a very strong position to go on and win this game. Can they close it out, or is there still a sting in the tail for them? Is there a response here in Ardee St. Mary's? No, here comes John Clutterbuck coming forward. He's up over the 45-metre line. Donald McKinney giving chase back to Sam Mulroy. Swings it in, and that one is gone to the left and wide from Sam Mulroy. Another good opportunity going and begging. Both teams are missing good scoring opportunities. Maybe a little bit of pressure now as well setting in. They know the enormity of the occasion, Fran, and obviously a little bit of nerves out there as well.
Absolutely, yeah. John Clutterbuck had done everything right there. Won the ball, took it off the shoulder from Stephen Campbell, and they've been told in training all week, all season long, give it to the scorer Sam Mulroy. What he's been doing, coming around on the loop, everything looked right, but just dragged it at the near side, something you don't want to do as a forward. But intriguing. Who's going to get that next score before the water break? A lot of pressure on the Marys lads to get it away here. He gives it away.
Oh, that's a very poor sideline ball. It's been intercepted, and here's an opportunity here for Stephen Campbell. That one floated in, but it's gone right and wide. Again, a little bit rushed there from Naomh Mairtin. That's our fourth wide of the second half. And while I suppose the Marys could have been closer at half time, and he could have even been ahead at half time, you could say the Martins there, they've missed a couple of opportunities of their own in this third quarter, and straight away now under pressure on this near side, Jay Crowley, the Ardee substitute, and he's given it away. Good pressure being applied here by the Martins. It's Stephen Campbell now sending it on to Sam Mulroy. Sam Mulroy thought about the pass, trying to take it down his right on his right foot, still has it, needs support I think, under a bit of pressure. He's cutting himself inside, goes for it right footed, Sam Mulroy, and that one sails in, and that one is looking good, and it's an excellent score from Sam Mulroy. He's kicked literally everything that has come his way. It's one from play this time, and Sam Mulroy, I thought the opportunity had been missed for because he just seemed to be holding it on.
Gray outside him screaming in his ear. Two or three times he done a couple of pirouettes, but again that upper body strength, seen him getting away from his defender, and he curled it beautiful over that time. Alan McCullough is struggling to get his kickouts away here all of a sudden in the last 5 minutes for the Marys. The Martins have put that bit of pressure on him, and the Martins are winning all the kickouts when the pressure is on.
Now another free being won by Naomh Mairtin just outside the Ardee 45 metre line, and Sam Mulroy, I would imagine, he's standing over it. Mulroy now, confidence high after those earlier kicks and those scores that he's been getting. 1 goal and 9 to 5 points. It's a good lead at this stage now, approaching the 15th minute mark in this second half. And well, will it be Monaster Boys celebrating this evening? If you're a betting man, that's the way it's looking at the moment, and it's going to be Mulroy now to take this one on. Another opportunity here to extend his team's lead. Here he comes now off the ground, Sam Mulroy connecting with it well, and that is looking good from Mulroy, and really stepping up to the plate here today. Sam Mulroy, another excellent score from the county man. It's 1 goal and 10 to 5 points. It's a really good lead here for that short kick out now, and Ardee putting themselves under a lot of pressure. The ball sent in, Karl Faulkner had to be alert to that one and gets it away eventually, picking out Conor Keenan. But now Ardee St.Marys, well, they've only scored 5 points. Let's not forget that they've only got two scores in the second half. 5 points will never be enough to win a county final, that's for sure, after all their big scores from earlier on. Here's Darver McConnell now. I think they need goals at this point. Here's Paddy Clark content to take his point, 6 it over the crossbar. He's had 2 opportunities, he's had 2 scores. It's 1 goal and 10 to 6 points as we approach almost the water break.
Yeah, Paddy, be delighted with his introduction. He's gotten 2 balls, 2 scores. McConnell in again, but the Marys, you feel, is going to need more at this stage. Has their goal chances passed already? That's the questionable thing. With McConnell inside, he's always looking to probe, always looking to get a goal, but you feel the Marys is going to need to take one of those goal chances if they're going to get back into this game.
Ball now dropping over centre field. The hands go up on this one. It's Tom Jackson coming off best out of that, and a boot has been left in, and the Martins have got the free. Mary's not happy at the decision. The referee has blown his whistle. I think he's actually blown for the water break, so it is the water break, so there will be it'll be when play resumes. I presume it will be a free for Naomh Mairtin, yes, but 1 goal and 10 to 6 points here. Naomh Mairtin extending their lead, and this has been a good spell for them in the third quarter. Could ultimately turn out to be the winning of the game for them. The goal from Conor Whelan, obviously, in the long run, could be absolutely crucial, could be the deciding factor.
Could be the deciding factor. It was 3 point game, went to a 4 point game. The goal really kind of makes the Marys worry then, because you go to 7 point game all of a sudden, so the Marys are starting to panic. Do they need a goal to get back into it? The Marys have kind of showed their hand early. They've made the 2 or 3 changes, a couple of injuries maybe as well, which hasn't helped, but you'll keep going back to those missed frees and then missed penalty in the first half. Couple of goal chances have gone awry, and that could be the thing that the Marys will look back this evening over, where they lost this game, because possession wise it's been quite 50-50. the Martins been that more economical. Sam was questioned in last year's final, maybe missed a couple of frees that he wouldn't usually miss, but he's been absolutely lethal today. I think he's kicked 5 dead balls today, and hopefully from my own perspective that maybe the wait is over. But look, as we said, anything can happen. We were in a commanding position this time 2 years ago against the Newtown Blues in Drogheda, and the last quarter went totally mad.
Yeah, it's 7 points between the teams as things stand, but it was also 7, of course, with 12 minutes to go in that group match between Ardee St.Marys and the Newtown Blues earlier on in the campaign, and the Marys managed to dig it out. So perhaps there is still one last hurrah in them, but they have some big game players off the field. Those changes that they made, Darren Clark and Robbie Levy already off the field. But Paddy Clark has done a good job since he's come on with those couple of scores. Darren McConnell always a threat, but Naomh Mairtin now still with this advantage, turning around, or resuming I should say, at 110 to 6 points in front. It is a very good lead in a county final. So ready to resume now, Paul Neal, the match referee, ready to get action underway, and it will be this free.
It's amazing to see both sets of supporters, they get that extra pump, I suppose, that you wouldn't usually get with the water break. So it's a great little send-off for both sets of players going back out onto the field.
Now here's Sam Mulroy, more and more involved with this second half progresses, and JP Rooney has come in for the last few minutes as well. Can he make an instant impression? That one drops short. Goalkeeper has to be careful. Adam McCullough almost let it drop out over the sideline, and it's young Tom Gray has come off the action, so the youngest man in the field being replaced by one of the oldest, JP Rooney. And what a reward it will be for JP if he ends up with a championship medal at the end of all this. The ball goes out to play on the far side. There's going to be another double change coming here on the Ardee team. Niall Eccles and also Mark Fay are coming in very shortly here for the Ardonians. So this perhaps the last throw of the dice here by Sean Barry, the manager. They need something a bit special now at this stage. It's Tom Jackson in possession, breaking inside the 45-metre line. That's an inviting ball. Kieran Keenan, though, that's there's too much pace on it. Just didn't work out there for Kieran Keenan, and Craig Lynch happy to shepherd that one out over the end line. And that double change now being made, going in to defence. We have it's going to be Niall Eccles, and he's going in to do a job now on JP Rooney. And also coming off the field, we have Conor Gillespie, the man that won the penalty in the first half. He's made his way off the field, and so no further changes on the Naomh Mairtin team, but JP Rooney is in.
Seen who the second player to come off for the Marys has been. Two has gone on, only one has come off.
We're just waiting, and Sean Barry, we're just waiting to see who, and the second player that's actually going off,
Cian Moran, they're calling. Cian Moran, the man who took the penalty, is coming off.
So Cian Moran makes his way off the field.
Number 18, Mark Fay, for number 12, Cian Moran.
So they're the two changes just being confirmed now. So we're inside now the last 10 minutes. And it is Naomh Mairtin leading by 1 goal and 10 points to St. Mary's 6 points. A long kick from Craig Lynch. Great distance again being got on that kick from the goalkeeper. Karl Faulkner underneath this one for Ardee. St. Mary's referee blows his whistle. It's a free taken quickly. Tom Jackson had to be quick to that one under a lot of pressure from John Clutterbuck. Jackson does well though. Finds a man on the outside. That man being Evan Keenan sprays that ball down towards the corner. That ball flicked inside. Now St. Mary's, and it's Ronan Karl who has it. Could be a chance on here for Ronan Karl, sending it in. The substitute Mark Fay in possession. Now he runs into the referee, almost knocks Neil over. And that one is sent in, and it's sent over the crossbar, and it's a point back for Ardee St. Mary's, and it is Mark Fay, the man who has got it. Mark Fay with the score, making it 1 goal and 10 to 7 points.
Yeah, Ronan Carroll causing a bit of trouble there when he got it. Big man, hard to stop. Rode a couple of challenges and found Mark Fay. Mark Fay had a really good last couple of seasons for the Marys. I haven't seen as much of him now this season, but again, the Marys' impact from the subs coming on. That's two for Paddy Clark and now one for Mark Fay, so they are making an addition when they come into the team.
Yes, the subs playing their part for St. Mary's now. Is a response from Naomh Mairtin from this kick out. Referee is going to hop the ball. It was a 50-50.
Fairness, it did look like the Marys man had both hands on it there. Sean Healy just kind of come in and maybe blocked the referee's view. Should have been probably a Marys ball, but those are the little breaks that's not going the Marys' way at the moment.
The ball is thrown up here by Paul Neal, knocked on by Val Leddy, but only as far as Evan Keenan gets it back for St. Mary's. Now it's with Tom Jackson, and the Marys now, they're going to have to commit men forward here. They're chasing the game. They're 6 points in arrears. 22 minutes gone in the second half. Tom Jackson now inside, but the Marys just inside the Martins half of the field. They're still a long way from goal. Here's Karl Faulkner now joining the attack, trying to work his way into a position in towards the centre. Goes for the short pass. Here's Mark Fay. It's Darver McConnell, in fact. Now it's with Donald McKinney. Donald McKinney back in towards Darren McConnell, can't control it, and again Naomh Mairtin have the numbers back, and who's there? Only Sam Mulroy, and he finds Owen Callaghan now doing well and walking it short out of defence. Naomh Mairtin now a classic chance for a counter attack here. It's with John Clutterbuck still soloing through the centre. Still John Clutterbuck has a look up, decides to take it on and go and all on his own, and he gets the free as well. Does his job. John Clutterbuck goes to ground.
He's such a hard man to stop. He drops the shoulder. You think you have him in the tackle, and then he just produces that another bit of pace again, and now a bit of ill discretion there from the Marys, and the ball's been brought up 13 yards, and it's kind of in the shooting zone now for Sam, whereas maybe it wasn't before the referee brought the ball up. And a little bit of ill discipline there from the Marys, bit of frustration telling.
Yes, here's Sam Mulroy then with a chance to extend his team's lead back to 7 points, with the clock telling us now there are 23 and a half minutes gone in the second half. So it is Mulroy from about 43 metres out from the post. We've seen him scoring from this distance out earlier. Let's see now if this was on target. Here he comes now off the ground, Sam Mulroy. This one is looking good, and the umpire racing for the white flag. and another one from Sam Mulroy, another one.
Yeah, again, Sam absolutely nailing his frees, doing everything that can be asked of him. And
something has happened from that
the referee
kick
was
out.
waiting for the change to be made. It didn't happen.
Just a little bit of afters going on there with
Valletti's gone out, and it looks like number 18 Gavin Mooney's after coming in there for the Martins. Gavin, who's had a fantastic career with the Martins in the middle of the field, just lost his place, a bit of an injury earlier in the year, but what a sub to be able to bring on at this time, and serious pressure being put on by the Martins forwards here.
So Gavin Mooney is into the action now. Ardee St. Marys being pressed hard in their own defence, but they come away with it with Niall Eccles as substitute, sending it over now towards Tom Jackson. A lot of urgency now has to be displayed by Ardee St. Marys to try and make a game of it here in the closing stages. They trail by 111 to 7 points. Naomh Mairtin, if you just literally about 6 minutes away from landing the Joe Ward for the first time in their history. Here's Tom Jackson though with it. Tom Jackson now has options, playing it in towards the centre. The substitute has it now, goes for the score, left footed, and this one comes back down off the post, and who's there? Only Stephen Campbell. Stephen Campbell does well. The man with the chance there was Karl Gillespie, the sub. Back it comes though, and Ardee St. Marys, they have a follow-up opportunity. Perhaps here is Mark Fay sending it inside. Could be a chance still on. Back it goes now. Here is the Tom Jackson with the chance, and Tom Jackson sends it in and puts it over the crossbar. Jackson with his second score of the game. Tom Jackson, he's in an excellent match. Tom Jackson, a real leadership qualities for a man that's still pretty young in age. 25 minutes gone, and it is now 1 goal and 11 to 8 points.
Yeah, he's an excellent footballer, Tom Jackson. You might have number 2 on his back, but he can play in any position all over the field. Very accomplished player, and again took the responsibility on. A couple of players around, but the Martins will be happy if they're conceding scores to be only conceding points. They're protecting that D area. Tom Sullivan took a bit of a bang on the ankle here, and the Mary supporters are getting on to him, but he seems to be maybe able to run it off.
6 points between the teams here. We have just under 5 minutes of normal time to go. John Clutterbuck now sending that ball forward. Here is the goal scorer from earlier, Conor Whelan. Conor Whelan now flicks it on, picking out one of his men, that man being Sam Mulroy. Sam Mulroy now to Stephen Campbell. Back it goes now again. Man in possession is Sean Healy. Sean Healy now, man in the overlap is Conor Whelan down that right hand side. Still Conor Whelan. Now what can he do with this one? Just taking it around his man, trying to get past the challenge of Conor Keenan. A little bit overplayed. JP Rooney has to be careful there. He stuck out his leg, JP Rooney, but didn't make contact luckily. Ball now breaking near side of the field, and it's Darren McCullough giving chase after this one. The Marys are trying to give everything in the closing stages here. They're just not giving up, that's for sure. It's Kieran Keenan now coming forward with it. Man inside is Darren McCullough. Still Kieran Keenan now. What can he do with this one? Oh, and he's brought down, and that's certainly a free, and it's Tom Sullivan who has brought Kieran Keenan down, and that's going to be a card, I think, for Tom Sullivan. What's the colour of the card going to be, I wonder? And no doubt about it, he was brought down, Kieran Keenan, just as he was running through. It's a yellow card for Tom Sullivan, and just feeling the effects of that, putting his foot in as well, because he's hobbling a little bit now as well, Tom Sullivan, so it's a yellow card. But Ardee St. Marys, well, they'll be mindful of the clock situation. 3.5 minutes or so to go for 6 points to make up. What do they do here? Were they happy to settle for the point, or will they?
They have to go for the point at this stage. There's 3 minutes left on the clock, but there could be another 3 or 4 added on top of that. We know from yesterday's games the final whistle doesn't blow after 60 minutes anymore. It's the first time there that the Martins kind of didn't have an outlet or nowhere to go. The ball went from Conor Whelan to Sam Mulroy, back to Conor Whelan. He overplayed it. It was torn down. That's after being skied there. He should have maybe went for the tap it over, but that epitomises for me where the Marys have lost this game today, if they are to go on and lose it. Too many other ends. Sam is nailing absolutely everything. Too many missed frees, missed penalties. If they convert them, they're definitely on 112 or 113.
Another missed opportunity there from that free that should have been converted, but it's not, and instead it's a kick out. There's another change just as we made in the last couple of minutes. There's Naomh Mairtin. Tom Sullivan has gone off the field with that injury, can't continue.
Owen Wright is in,
and Owen Wright is coming in now for the last few minutes. But Naomh Mairtin here, 111 to 8 points to lead. Surely it's not going to be surrendered, that lead that they have now at this stage of the game. We're inside now the last 2 minutes of normal time, but St. Marys are not giving up. They're still coming forward with it. going to try throw everything here at it, bar the kitchen sink in the closing minutes. It's Paddy Clark in possession. Clark now just holding it up, finding a bit of support. He needs support. That ball sent in, wasted again, and Craig Lynch happy just to shepherd that out left and wide. Another wide for St. Mary's, our second in quick succession. I don't think it's going to be the Ardee men's day. It's going to be Naomh Mairtin, bar an absolute miracle here in the last few minutes. We will have a few minutes to be added on as well, but it looks as if it's going to be history in the making here after the disappointment of 18, the disappointment of 19, both coming at the hands of Newtown Blues. It looks as if it's going to be third time lucky here for the men from Monaster Boys. The kick out now about to come from goalkeeper Craig Lynch on the 20-metre line over towards that far side of the field. The hands go up on this ball. One, the mark called by Sam Mulroy. Mulroy now, what an impact he's had on this game. As we mentioned, the Martins proving the more economical. The Marys will have certainly a lot of regrets about the chances that have come and gone in this game and the chances that they didn't convert, but they're still coming forward. They have 6 points though to make up. Surely it can't happen for them now at this late stage of the game. It's Darren McCullough flicking that ball inside. Oh, this is good. Kieran Keenan now, opportunity perhaps, he goes to ground. Referee has a look at it. It's going to be a penalty. Kieran Keenan has been brought down and it's going to be a penalty. Referee awarding a second penalty in the game, another RD penalty, and coming up very quickly, Liam Jackson I think is going to take on the responsibility, but it was Keenan the man that was brought down. We talked about that low centre of gravity and how difficult he is when he's running through in those sort of situations, and they've given away a second penalty here, Naomh Mairtin. But is it going to be too little too late? Even if it goes in, it's going to be Liam Jackson this time.
Jackson this time, yeah. Maybe his brother Tom should have come up to take it. He's kicked 2 points so far, but obviously both brothers very, very accomplished footballers. This will make it a really interesting finish if Liam can
well, he has to nail it. He simply has to nail it to give the Marys any chance whatsoever of rescuing this one. Here he comes now, right footed, and he rolls it into the net. Jackson with the goal. Liam Jackson with the goal. It's 1 goal and 11. It's 1 goal and 8. It's a late lifeline here for St. Mary's. Have they still time to rescue it? Well, there's only a kick of the ball between it. Craig Lynch is now on the ground. The Marys don't like this at all. Craig Lynch is his knees. He's down on the ground. Not too sure whether well, when he dived, did he pick up a knock? He's just
he's okay. You think he'll be okay?
Well, the Marys, naturally enough, they don't like the see.
I don't understand what happened there. I was just writing down the score and I looked up and Craig was on the ground, so I don't know what really happened, but it all came from Sam won an absolutely wonderful mark out around the far side, and for some reason he played a little short 50-50 pass. It was turned over. In fairness to the Marys, them runners through the middle have hurt the Martins all day. But is it too little too late?
Well, you just wonder now. 31 minutes exactly gone in this second half. Paul Beryl crucially has got his hands in it. Gavin Mooney, the substitute, sends it on, but it's intercepted brilliantly. Ronan Carroll is back there for St. Mary's, and he jostles for and he gets us free as well. One last hurrah here perhaps for the Marys. Remember, if it does end in a draw, there will be a replay. There'll be no extra time. Ball far side the field here. It's with Tom Jackson. Tom Jackson sending it down to Darren McCullough. He calls the mark. Darren McCullough. Late drama here. We saw yesterday how Naomh Finbarrow won it in the closing stages with that goal from Owen Osborne. Similar drama perhaps possible here today as well this afternoon. It's with Jay Crawley now, the St. Mary's substitute. Is he going to lob it in? No, he's not. He's happy to play the pass to Mark Fay. Back now to Ronan Carroll. Has a look up at the post. He's happy to take his point. Is he, Ronan Carroll? It sails over the crossbar. It's a point for Ronan Carroll. It's 1-11 to 1-9. It's a 2-point game and we're still playing. 32 minutes almost exactly gone, and Ronan Carroll, the last 3 scores, a goal and 2 now the Marys have got without reply. Have they left it still though? Have they left it too late?
To the Marys here, they're showing tremendous bottle. They're going right to the very death. Again, the Martins won that kick out around the middle and gave it away. Loose possession, something that they're not holding on to. So who's going to win the vital possession this time?
Craig Lynch now with the kick out here. Possession absolutely vital. Ball now. Darren McCullough looks to be on Liam Jackson trying to get his hand in it, but crucially Gavin Mooney, the substitute now for the Jocks. Another score here surely would settle it. He's got the free. The substitute doing his job, Gavin Mooney. He goes to ground, and now Sam Mulroy perhaps can seal it here for the Jocks. Well, a massive moment here for Sam Mulroy. 2 the difference between the teams, 1-11 to 1-9. Well, what drama here in the closing stages. St. Mary's battling right to the finish here, but are they going to come up short? It looks as if perhaps they are. Can't be too much long to be left after this free.
I couldn't quite hear if they announced how many minutes stoppage time.
There's 3 minutes, we do believe. Here's Sam Mulroy now. taking it from his hands, Mulroy, and he turns away and he knows it's over the bar from Sam Mulroy, and Sam Mulroy breaking up the sequence of scores at the other end. It's 1 goal and 12 to 1 goal and 9. That's 6 or 7 Mulroy has got in this game. 33 minutes gone, and from the kick out, Naomh Mairtin now have won it, and they've got another free. The foul, the hand left in by Liam Jackson, and now another opportunity for Sam Mulroy. Well, 3 points.
Make the 8 points so far for Sam. This is an opportunity to score his 90s, a 2 from play, so it's a tremendous return from Sam. He's missed very little, 1 from play here in the second half, been very, very efficient, and he's maybe put away the demons of last year. Likewise, you could say about Craig Lynch has put away the demons of 2 years ago.
So Sam Mulroy with 8 points to his name so far in this game. If this goes over, it's a 4-point game, and it's curtains for Ardee, and it's going to be surely victory for Naomh Mairtin. Almost 4 minutes over the half hour played now. Ardee are not happy at the pace that Sam Mulroy is taking and the length he's taking with the kick. It's looking good. It's gone over the crossbar. Mulroy with another score. It's his 9th of the afternoon. It's now 1 goal and 13 to 1 goal and 9. And surely now Naomh Mairtin are not going to throw away this situation. Tom Jackson, but on St. Mary's still battling away from that kick out. Here's Karl Faulkner. They've thrown everything at it. 113 to 1-9. Substitute now in possession. That's Jay Crawley. Jay Crawley now thought about the pass. Has to go back ways with it. It's Donald McKinney now who has it. Donald McKinney now up over the 65 metre line, giving chase after him, JP Rooney. But surely there can't be too long left here. Paul Neal, no sign of the full-time whistle just yet though. But Monaster boys, they're on the verge of history. They're on the verge of winning their first ever Louth Senior Football Championship title. The long ball sent in by Conor Keenan. It's dropping dangerously. Ronan Carroll calls the mark. Ronan Carroll calls it, goes for the short one. Was there a trip in there, referee? On a Jaron McCullough pulls on that one, but it's been intercepted and it's been played out. Still no sign of the full-time whistle. Ball played down towards this near side, giving chase after it. Conor Whelan now, the goal scorer for Naomh Mairtin a little bit earlier on. Still Conor Whelan now. He's a bit isolated, but cuts inside, goes for the score. Oh, and he just pulled it. He's pulled it wide. It's still in play though. Alan McGauley quickly out from his goal. He needs to walk it up. He's under pressure from Sam Mulroy. Goes to ground. Referee says that's a free out. And Sam Mulroy kicks that ball away, and might see a card now. Indeed, Sam Mulroy for doing that. Shouldn't really have kicked the ball away. Shouldn't have done that. That was a little bit. That's a little bit silly, and it's a card for Sam Mulroy. And well, play continue. Ardee, St. Marys, they don't want. Well, I think they're going to have to take it again. There's 2 balls in the field for a start, and it's going to have to be retaken now by Alan McGauley. And well, time referee takes a quick look at the watch, but still happy to play on. Still St. Mary's now coming forward, and the man in possession now is Karl Gillespie. Karl Gillespie up over halfway down towards the corner. Paddy Clark tries to control that one, just couldn't connect with it. It's and there the whistle goes, and the final whistle goes, and there it is, and Naomh Mairtin have won their first ever Anchor Tours Louth Senior Football Championship. The subs are invading the pitch. They'll do well to keep the spectators off the pitch as well. It is history. It's victory for Naomh Mairtin. They were left sweating a bit in the closing stages. The Marys really putting it up to them in the closing stages. The penalty from Liam Jackson, the point which followed from Ronan Carroll, it made it a 2-point game. But the Martins had it in them to get the last 2 scores to settle their nerves a bit. Sam Mulroy with his 8th and 9th point in the closing stages, and Ardee St. Marys, despite a gallant effort, have come up short. And it is Naomh Mairtin's day. It's the Naomh Mairtin's evening here. Congratulations from McCullough, former Naomh Mairtin player. A massive result, a massive victory here, but no question about it, Naomh Mairtin had a fight tooth and nail for this victory today.
Absolutely fought tooth and nail. They can never do it the easy way. My voice is nearly gone. My emotions are running through the roof. The scenes here at the end, we've been waiting since 1957 to win a senior title, and that wait has finally come to an end. But by God, where we made work every step of the way by a very plucky St. Mary's side. Had every opportunity in the first half, missed our penalty, we'll go keep harping on about it. Had 2 goal chances, and as you said, Colm, will do very well to keep the Naomh Mairtin supporters off the field here. Just like to say, all the hard work that has gone on throughout. Jim Farrell started this off. All the credit in the world goes to Fergal Reel, but Jim Farrell started all this off back in 2015, aided by Noel Healy as the chairman. And anything that this club wants or needs to get, them guys will do it, and Noel Healy will do it and get it for them. And just, I'm absolutely delighted for each and every one of them today to get their just rewards after a long 5-year project, I suppose is what you call it. But Fergal Reel is the man. He's a serial winner. He's done it with the Pats in Louth, and now he's gone ahead and he's done it with Naomh Mairtin. And absolutely delighted is all I can say.
Well, you've done well to keep your emotions in check, Fra, because it has been a very emotional afternoon. Well, Naomh Mairtin here will be presented with the Joe Ward Cup very shortly. Mick Fanning, of course, having to retire early on. He's the winning captain. We just presume it was an injury, but they've done it without him in a large part. But Mick Fanning, award from him. What a leader he's proved to be over the last few years as well. And fellas, long-serving players. And of course, JP Rooney coming on again today and gets his hands on that medal. And due reward for the likes of him who've put in so much effort over so many years.
JP made his debut in 1996. I just seen there this morning, and he's still going in the year 2020. It's his 25th year playing senior. I've aired 20 of the years with him. Likewise, Mick Fanning, 33 years of age. He's been the man. He's been the dictator, as we call him. But that's the way he is. That's his lifestyle off the field. He gets all the lads. All the lads row in behind him. He's absolutely so deserving of this title today, and to be the first man from Monster Boys to lift that title. Just on a personal level, there's two men we have to really think of here today. We've had a lot of tragedy, I suppose, in Monster Boys after the last number of years, but I'd like to big mention to Benny Riley there, who we lost in 2017, and my own nephew Shane Whelan back in 2013. Those two guys should be with us today, but these are the type of occasions that these people would live for and absolutely love.
Absolutely, yeah. An award for Ardee St.Marys. I mean, to come through to get to this stage by beating the Blues twice. They gave it one hell of an effort there. Their backs were to the wall. They were chasing the game in that second half, but they never threw in the towel. And the hope would be perhaps that they'll come back again.
Absolutely, they'll be back again. Average age of 24 years of age. A couple of older guys, the likes of Darren Clark there, 37. But take the likes of him out of it. Very young. A lot of guys, 19, 20 years of age. This experience will stand to them. It stood to Naomh Mairtin for the last 2 years. This experience will stand to them, and from where the Marys have come last year, right, they contested the Cardinal O'Donnell final, but where they've come from last year to put them head, to go and beat the Blues, who everyone thought was going to go on and win 4 in a row, to bring themselves from that level up to now competing with the likes of Naomh Mairtin and Newtown Blues. That has to be a tremendous, I suppose, feeder for them going into next season.
Well, it was a final that certainly didn't disappoint. The scores were hard to come by early on, but the game really opening up then in the second half, and it's all finished in victory for Naomh Mairtin. Samuel Roy finishing with 9 points to his credit, certainly a contender for man of the match, along of course with goalkeeper Craig Lynch. An award for Craig Lynch as well. The last couple of finals, I suppose, he came in for a bit of criticism, particularly the 2018 one, Fra, but today when it counted, he really stood up.
The two guys that come in for the criticism in the last 2 years finals, Craig Lynch, we were 4 or 5 points ahead back, and he got a black card in the 2018 final, and then in 2019 a couple of early opportunities for Sam to take his frees and he didn't take them. But talk about redemption today for Craig Lynch, for Samuel Roy. It's, in my opinion, toss of a coin between who you'd like to give man of the match to their Colm. Absolutely delighted for the two guys.
Yeah, well, it's great scenes the far side of the pitch, as you can hear. As you can see and you can hear, because a lot of the players are embracing the supporters, and it's very difficult not to in these circumstances, because the Naomh Mairtin, they've been, I suppose, put through the mill the last few years, after the disappointment of 18 and then coming back, losing again last year, and well, for them the opportunity in the end has not been missed. They have made it third time lucky. The presentation will be coming up in a few minutes time. Conor Whelan's goal 10 minutes into the second half, perhaps one of the scores that turned the game really in Naomh Mairtin's favour. That opened up a 1-8 to 4 points lead for them at that stage. The Marys kept going and going, and of course they got the goal, the penalty from Liam Jackson, which gave them that very late lifeline, but there just wasn't enough time. And at the other end, Naomh Mairtin making the most of the few frees that they earned. Samuel Roy with his 8th and 9th point in the dying stages of the game, wrapping up the victory. So we will have reaction in a few minutes time. We'll be heading over on Lou TV for the presentation shortly, and on LMFM we will have reaction from some of the players as well. And I think we're ready now to go over towards the far side now, and the presentation about to be made to the winning captain of Naomh Mairtin, Mick Fanning.
Although I think most of you have a Monster Boys and are listening via LMFM or indeed watching on Lou TV. We're extremely grateful to both media for making it possible for all these people to be with us from all over the world, not just the Monster Boys, Ardee and parts of the northeast. A special welcome to those joining us from all parts of Ireland, and indeed Gaels from all over the world, in such faraway places as Melbourne, New York, San Francisco, Mark and Dan Rose in Canada, people in Birmingham, James Stewart, Brian and Katie in Dubai, and many others. You're very welcome. Forgive me if this goes on a bit, but like the groom's speech, you only expect to do it once, and you want to make the best of it. Today's game is the finale of a wonderful festival of football here in Darver. This facility is generally used by all our county squads in the winter months and criticised and despised because heretofore, when you would visit, it was during wet, windy and frosty weather. Any of those players, and many of them are here, that have played with the county teams are well aware of that. However, it has come to our rescue in this strangest of summers. So much so that we were able to host most of our games here and our 4 main football finals over these past 2 days. I would like to thank those who worked tirelessly to ensure Darver was fit for purpose to host these games. Declan Byrne, John Byrne, Jason Hoy, Richie Walsh, and the star of Darver himself, Simon Fagan. I hope the experience of playing here on good dry pitch will encourage all our clubs to really drive on our dual house draw and make our new proposed stadium a reality very soon. A huge thank you to all our gate men and our 2 gate ladies during the year, Denise Lynch and Clodagh McLean. Also to our very own Moxie Mark Byrne for his tireless work in the preparation of souvenir programmes for this year's finals. His work with all aspects of the media and in particular Lou TV. Well done, Mark. This was a new dimension this year, and the professionalism in its running drew praise from all quarters. A special word of thanks is due to its anchor commentators Colm Corrigan, Dan Bannon, and the man here beside me, Stephen Ure, and to the co-commentators from McCullough, Ogie Harmon, Karl Bob Doheny and Jimmy Murray. A big thank you also to all the officers who helped during the championship, especially to our operations manager Francie McMullen, who pulled everything together in relation to ticketing and scanning. I would also like to congratulate Francie and his lovely wife Edel on the birth this week of the new baby boy. And Francie, you thought the championship was over, you could take it handy. Many thanks to our sponsors for their support, especially in this year of 2020, and indeed over a number of years. To our county team sponsors, Stat Sports and O'Neill's, our adult competition sponsors, Anchor Tours, represented here by Seamus this afternoon, CT's Business Solutions and Anglo Printers. Also our underage sponsors, LMFM, Cullen Auto Parts, Drogheda Independent Argus, and finally to our development squad sponsors, Dundalk Credit Union. A huge thank you to them all. Congratulations to both teams on today's final. It was an excellent game between 2 fine teams and played in a sporting fashion, and great credit is due to both clubs for this. A word of thanks also to our referee Paul Neal, his linesmen, umpires and sideline officials who did their part to make it an enjoyable game for all. It is no coincidence that these 2 teams would meet in the Senior Championship final. With the excellent work going on at underage level in both clubs, it was inevitable that this day would come. In fact, if you look at the programme today, you'll see over the last 4 years we shared the minor championship. Indeed, the 2 clubs have locked horns in the business end of competitions in the last 3 or 4 years. In 2017, in the Cardinal O'Donnell Cup semi-final, the day both clubs lost a great friend in Benny Riley. And again in 2019 when it was the Cardinal O'Donnell Cup final. However, today victory goes to Naomh Mairtin, and with it Joe Ward comes to Monaghan's device for the very first time. It's a victory built on hard work over many years by very many people and delivered today by this wonderful group of players. It is a group of players who are pushed on by the junior, under-20, minor and various underage teams who continually strive to get the pinnacle of Louth football. There's no doubt it was a slow burn from 1972, 1980, 1988 to today, but an upward trajectory all the time. However, to build a stronghold, you need a strong foundation, and the work at underage level over a long number of years has today borne fruit and no doubt will continue into the future. For a rural club, this is so much part of the community. This victory is very special, and no doubt all Monasterboice people will walk much taller for the coming weeks. All the men, women, boys and girls in the club, supported by their families, will rejoice in this for the foreseeable future. And these extraordinary times we are living in will be made all the brighter by this day. I would congratulate Noel Healy, Chairman, and his dedicated committee for their thankless efforts over the last number of years in organising not just this team, but also the numerous teams within the club. There is a huge volume of work going on at the club from this team down to the nursery, and this does not happen by chance. In addition, raising funds to run teams, to keep club rooms, pitches and facilities up to scratch requires huge effort and commitment, so well done to all. Also to the management team of Fergal Reel. Fergal, you could probably do the speech, you've been here before. Barry Morta, Eddie Martin, JD, congratulations. I could stand here and talk and eulogise about this group of players all day, but I'll leave that until we get Joe back to Monasterboice. However, while the experts will write about 2 in a row and 3 in a row for teams, it says a lot about the character of a team, and more importantly its players, who suffered the heartbreak of losing 2 finals to get up, dust themselves down and go again. So well done to the Martins again. From a Loud GA point of view, it would be remiss of me not to mention, and I don't like picking out players, but as I said, as a Loud person, not to mention the Loud legend that is JP Rooney. He has served the county well over a long number of years with his silky skills. That episode in 2010, overshadowed a match that contained one of the finest goals ever scored in Croke Park, and by our own genius, as the late Charlie McAllister called him. His service and dedication to Loud, and more importantly to Naomh Mairtin over a long number of years, is today justly rewarded with a senior championship. Well done, JP. Monasterboice is a famed parish, and Naomh Mairtin a proud club, providing many players to the county teams over the years, and they continue to do so at all levels. They are always very supportive of the county in providing players, facilities and indeed administrators, and are very supportive of our current house draw. Today is a very special day, one many thought that we might never see in their lifetime, but the Martins have today come of age. Before we present Joe, we have one more award to present to the Anchor Tours Man of the Match for 2020. Is our goalkeeper, Craig Lynch. And to let everybody believe that we have actually won it, I have one more further chore, and that is to present the Joe Ward Cup to our captain, Michael Fanning.
What was the key to victory today? Today and throughout the course of the championship?
Scoring more than them. No, thankfully, thought Crouchy was excellent. Karl done a great job when he went back on Kieran Keane. He's an excellent footballer, so it took a lot. Every player was exceptional today, and we got over the line, thank God.
Sam, thanks very much for joining us. Enjoy the celebration. It's all the best.
Nick, just keep the mic between you and that. Once you don't turn around.
Ready to go, are we? Think Aidan took all my lines there, so I'll have to figure something out here. But no, look, year was 1957, Louth were our Ireland champions. Oliver Plunkett's held the Joe Award, but it was also the year a group of Monster Boys men got together to form this great club. It's been 63 long years, but finally the Jocks get to dine at the top table with the Joe Award! Trust me, there's been blood, sweat and tears from many players, many management team, many committee, many supporters over that 63 years. So much work has gone in. The great team of '88 put us into senior. Since then, I said we've tried and tried, sometimes underachieving, to finally get this club where it belongs with Joe. Look, and today this group of boys here make history. The first team, Naomh Mairtin team, to bring Joe Award back to Monster Boys. What an achievement! Look, we've been together for the last 3 to 4 years, and we've had some great moments. But Jesus, we've had some dark moments. Look, people wrote us off, said we couldn't win it, said we couldn't do it, said we couldn't come back again. And look where we are. With that, look, we have Ardee. I know they're just gone, but look, they've been a great side all year, the form side. Look, with the underage talent that they have coming through, I know they're going to be back competing with this trophy in the next couple of years. So look, 3 cheers for Ardee. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. Look, a couple of thank yous to get through. Look, we'll start with Darver and the Louth County Board for running the championship this year. Look, it wasn't easy with everything that was going on, but look, to get it ran safely and to get a bit of football and joy back into like today, like people's life, it's immense, you know, so we can't thank you enough for running that fit up. To the referees, team and squad today, look, we thank you for effort. Look, a fair game. As I said, I know it's not easy. You might get a little bit easier if JP retires. You won't be listening to him anymore. So look, that could be one benefit on the side. Look, to the sponsor, Anchor Tours, for all their support over the years to keep the senior championship going. We thank you. Look, to the groundsmen and stewards looking after Darver today, look, we thank you. It's not easy, maybe turning a few away or letting a few slide in fits up. But look, we thank you for that. Look, we have our main sponsors, Monster Boys Sin. Look, that have been with us through thick and thin, and always the lifeblood of the club and again the community. They've been through a difficult time, business-wise. So look, as best we can, we have to give it back to them and support them and get them back on their feet. look to the club, the committee, to underage, to every selector, male, female. Look, what it is it's all about the club. It's all about giving an opportunity to be your best, and that's what this team has been given by all the work that goes on. Some people in particular, Noel Healy, Graham Murray, Neil Cooney, everyone knew what's gone on before that, the underage. Look, it means so much to give the senior team a pivot to work off, and we're gratefully thankful for all the work that goes on, and keep it going. To the management team, to JD, to Jed, look, we can't thank you enough. The presence you bring to the dressing room is immense. To Barry Morta, to Nedza, look, we can't thank you enough. Look, I know these search long and hard to find the right people, and we're thankful to find you. All right. Then to the main man himself, Fergal Real. Hey, let's see a smile, Fergal. There we go. Look, we met him back in November, and he only had one question. Look, is the hunger there to win it? That's all he asked. Every training session, every match, is it there? And there's your hunger now, Fergal. In the Look, a lot of work has gone on from previous management teams that put us through here. They don't go forgotten today. To Martin Morgan, Hugh Lyons, Chris Guynes, Patrick Sullivan, and Jim Farrell. Look, we can't thank you enough for where you put us in that today. Look, they've been through with us thick and thin. Look, I know over the last year or two we couldn't bring it home, but your support never waned. And look, to see the numbers here today, definitely not 100 here already, or 50, but we'll say nothing. But again, thank you still so much. And again, look, to this squad of players, look, we stuck together. The work rate, the effort that we've put in has been immense. That's the boys that have come into the squads, particularly the boys who maybe haven't got a run this year. You don't know how important you are. To Jack Murphy, to Wayne Campbell, to be here and part of it, we can't thank you enough. Look, on great occasions, it's always, look, we have to remember maybe those who can't be here with us. Look, we all have friends and family that would love to be celebrating this, and we don't forget them today. Particularly for this group of squads, we have Shane Whelan and we have Benny Riley, who will know, look, they were looking down on us today, kick every ball, gave us the drive over the last 2 years to keep coming back, and that's for them. All right.
Joe!